morning. Happy Saturday. Real quick, hang on. I gotta do something. Hang on. The window open. I am so hot. It's like 40 degrees outside, but I'm very warm. So I had the window open here and I thought maybe I better not have the window open because everyone outside will hear me and I don't want people to hear me. Unless you're here, then you can hear me. Hi friends, good morning, good morning. Just looking at the chat here real quick while I wait for the YouTubes to catch up because, oh, hang on, let's turn that down. All right, here we go. There we are. Hello, welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone is doing well this Saturday right before Halloween. It's always crazy in my world. I've been teaching at a virtual retreat this weekend with 3 craft chicks. So it is their holiday virtual retreat. Let me just center that. So the last 2 days, so Thursday night, and then did a make and take virtually. Yesterday, I did my December documented class, which was part of that retreat. And then last night I did a demo showing a bunch of my stamps and my new Traveler's notebooks and things like that. And it was all Christmas in here. This whole thing was Christmas because it had to be, because we couldn't have Halloween back there for a Christmas thing. And so very quickly this morning, all Christmas came down and Halloween came back up. You want to know what's really funny? Tomorrow, here in my YouTube channel, I will be teaching my December documented class to everyone that purchased it outside of that event. And so this will all go away again, and then Christmas will come back. So I'm a little not sure what holiday it is, although today it's Halloween. Well, it's not really Halloween, but it's close. It's the Saturday before Halloween. So for all intents and purposes for us, today it's Halloween. I'll check out the chat in a second. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are new to Saturdays, welcome. On Saturdays when I'm not traveling, which has been quite a bit lately, just the fall is always crazy in terms of traveling and teaching at events and things like that. But on Saturdays when I'm not traveling, we are here on my YouTube channel and we do something I like to call creative listing. So usually a couple days before on a Thursday, I publish on my website, on the blog, at least three different listing topics that we're going to cover. I tell you, show you, send you to a link of the products that I will be using. And then when we're together, that's what we do, or that's what I do. So I take the list topics and then I take lots of fun stickers and stamps and die cuts and things like that. And I make lists. In a lot of cases, our lists are what I call time capsules because we are documenting very specific points in time. And we're also creating like this amazing little time capsule. For me, it's about me. Many of you do it about you as well. So you're kind of creating this history, but it's a really, really like personal history because there are things like topics. One of today's is things I avoid. We'll talk about that one in a minute. So sometimes we're like listing about things that maybe a lot of people don't know about us. Maybe our family doesn't know about us or our friends don't know about us. But we have fun. That's what we do here on Saturdays. We have fun. There's a live chat that takes place. So if you're watching live, hang on, I need some light. Hang on. If you are watching live, you will see the live chat somewhere on your screen. That is a really fun place to kind of interact. And that's how I can interact with you guys. So I know who's here and we can chat back and forth. Otherwise, I'm just chatting at you. So chat's a really fun place to hang out. There's a wonderful group of people that are here in and out. Sometimes people are on, sometimes people aren't. But this is basically like an open house. So I'm like live streaming the whole time, but you guys can come and go as you please. Don't feel like you have to, if you need to leave, say I'm leaving, or sorry to leave early, or sorry to get here late. It's an open house. So come and go as you please. If you are new, I'd love it if you'd pop into the chat and say hello, because it's always nice to see new fresh faces, or new fresh names, I should say, since I can't see your faces. So I am going to just check that chat really quick here because I'd like to see who's here. Hi, Robin from Central Kansas. It's really chilly here. 90s last week, 30s this weekend. Same, Robin, same. Utah, Mother Nature is very much a split personalities this time of year. On Thursday, we had our first snow. It's probably about 40 degrees right now. So yeah, it's kind of fall. It's just kind of what fall does in lots of parts of the country, right? Hi, Rainy. Nice to see you. Cold and snowy in Colorado. Yep, you got it from, it's just worked its way across, right? It's working its way east. Hi, Julie. From Central Coast of California. Paige, hello, hello. Paige is ready for some listing. She said it's been a bit. It's been a bit for me too. Like I said, this time of year is crazy hectic for me when it comes to traveling and teaching. Even this weekend, teaching at a virtual retreat, I totally forget what it's like teaching at a virtual retreat from home. Because I'm like, oh, it's great, I'm home. Not really. Yesterday was a long day. Anyhow, it's all good. Good morning, Ms. L. Hi, Trisha and Sarah. Trisha from Washington and Sarah from Southern California. Janine. Hi, Mindy. Mindy's been participating in that virtual event that I've been teaching at over the last couple of days. Wanda and both you and Kim are crafting. Mindy, I love that. Love that, love that for you guys. Hi, Kathy. Beach Gal. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you. Is Joshua there with you? Please tell him I said hello. Hi, Joshua. Deborah Jones. She said, I just discovered you in September and am joining my first live. Welcome, Deborah, welcome. I will tell you welcome, but I also know that folks in the chat will also tell you welcome because they are a very, very welcoming bunch. So I feel like some of you guys are like my best friends because I tell you everything. You probably know a lot more about me than a lot of my friends do. So Gracie Creates, good morning. Shell M, Robin, Deborah will be joining me in the December documented class tomorrow. Yes, we'll have a long, it's probably going to be about 5 hours tomorrow. So just be prepared if you're taking the December documented class with me tomorrow. We'll have a ton of fun. That'll be the 4th time I've taught it. Hi, Kathy from California. Pam, good morning. Good morning. Debbie from Idaho. Oh yeah, sunny and 30. I know, we're in that cold zone, aren't we? Rena, good morning, Rena from Montana. She's here to finally watch a live. So here's the thing, guys. If you catch me live, that's awesome. But if not, I know a lot of you can't catch me live because of life. A lot of you catch me on the replay. So replay is just as fun. If you didn't know that it was a replay, you would think it was live. So that's kind of good. Let's see. Tracy's Treasures. Hi, said hello, everyone. So excited to watch a live. Been at her cottage all spring, summer, and fall. Oh, so happy to be home with internet. That sounds just so wonderful. Rollins family from Dallas, Fort Worth. Roberta, good morning, good morning. Janelle in Miami. Janelle's new. Hi, Janelle. Janelle said she is new here. She's been binge watching and already have so many Layle by mail takeaways. I love that. I love that. I love the long timers and I love newbies just as much. So nice to have you and welcome. Welcome, welcome. I love, oh yeah, guess what Janelle said? Remember to plug the phone after you turn it around, turn off Bluetooth when Harvey's in the driveway. Guess what? Harvey's in the driveway. Harvey is our RV. Nick's kind of he's winterizing it. And so this morning he went, oh, we need to turn the Bluetooth off on your phone because we've learned the hard way that if we don't do that, you guys can hear everything that's going on in Harvey and not me. So unless you want to hear what's going on there, we don't want that. Anne, good morning. Anne said hi from Michigan. It's her first live in forever. Feels like the same for me too. Feels like it's been forever. It's been a couple weeks. Hi, Val, watching from the cabin. Good morning, good morning. Sandy from Minnesota. Oh, good. I love that, Deborah. Josh was there. He looked up when I said hello. I just love that so much. Love that so much. All right. Kathy's still traveling home to Phoenix, but she's listening in. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Stacy. Lori. Oh yeah, I'll see Lori. I'll see a number of you in Spokane in 2 weekends. And I'll see also a number of you next weekend in Anaheim. So Spokane is the 3 Craft Chicks holiday candy cane lane retreat in person. That's the virtual one that's going on this weekend that I've been teaching at. And then next weekend is my friend Lizzie Lou, her fun Christmas bash. All right, Julie from Florida. Okay, friends, I think that we are just about ready to go. Jane said, thanks for the great traveler's notebook class in the summer. Just back from 25-day cruise, did a daily loud of our travels. Use my suggestions. I love that. Wonderful. Hi, Elise. Nice to see you. Elise is super excited. Tracy's Treasure said, will you be doing a flip of your I Love Reading kit? Yeah, I will. Yes, I will. I need to do that. So I probably won't do that. I'll do a video of it and record it. That'll be a really quick one that I can do over the weekend. So yes. Just Me 317 said, first time in forever. Can't seem to catch the lives, but guess what? You're here and I love that. And you guys are all here. And if you're not here and you're watching, that means you watch the replay, and I love that too. Okay, let's talk about a few things. First of all, this morning, I very much procrastinated getting ready, but don't worry, everything's ready to go. If you follow college football at all, today, ESPN is hosting their Game Day Live college football big old shindig here in Utah, the University of Utah, which is where Nick and I both went to college. So we are alumni of the University of Utah. We did not go to that. That's a little beyond our fandom. We did not go to that, but we were watching it on TV this morning, so I got totally sucked into that. I'm super excited because the football game, University of Utah playing Oregon State, is this afternoon. We're not going to it, but I get to watch it here at home because I'll be here, which is kind of a treat in the fall for me to be home watching a football game because usually I'm not. So very excited about that. All right, friends. So let's talk about a couple of housekeeping items very quickly. We will not be together again until November 18th. So today is November 28th. We won't be together again until November 18th because I will be out of town traveling and teaching the next 2 weekends in a row. So we'll be together on the 18th and the 25th. Starting the 18th, that's going to be about at least 7 weeks in a row that we should be listing. Okay, like 7 weekends in a row, which hasn't happened literally, I think, since towards the end of the pandemic. That's just kind of what happens when fall is crazy and I'm traveling a lot. So look forward to that. You can always find out what the schedule is. It's been published now probably about the last 4 months. Through the end of the year. You can always find that on my blog at laylebymail.com. You can find it in the Layle by Mail Facebook page, the Layle by Mail Facebook group. It's always at the bottom of all the emails that go out. So I try to make it as easy as possible for you to know when you can count on me being here. And then I always say, caveat, it's tentative in case Nick and I decide to leave for a weekend or something like that. So that's currently the plan. We have a couple giveaways to talk about. So when we're together, I always like to do fun giveaways, and I call them after party. They're like the after party, like the after party parties at the Oscars. They're the after party giveaways when I do lives, and I do them after the fact because then anyone can participate. You don't have to be watching live because I don't want to penalize people that can't watch live. That means everyone has an equal chance. The way you participate in the giveaway is I ask you to leave a comment on the video when it is over. So not in the chat. I won't see it in the chat. And the chat's only available live. So I ask you to leave a comment on the video when it's over. I know some people just make a little reminder that as soon as it's over, they go and leave a comment, then you don't have to worry about it. The morning that we are together again, so in this case on November 18th, that morning before we start, I will go pick random lucky winners. Doesn't matter what you say in the comments, but I pick random lucky winners to win prizes. And so we need to talk about the three random lucky winners from last week, or not last week, the last time we were together. So I randomly picked comments. You know that you win because I reply to your comment, and you should be emailed when that happens from YouTube. You get a little email from me with that comment telling you won. And then I also announce it here. So a lot of times, you guys, there's usually between like 3,000 and 5,000 views on any of my given live videos like this. And there's maybe 60 to 80 comments. So your chances of winning are pretty good, I'm going to say. If all you have to do is leave a comment. So we have 3 winners from last week. 2 of the 3 winners had their choice of one of my new triplets. I had triplets this year. I had triplets in September. It was the gestational period of an elephant, 18 months. So actually 2 lucky winners received their choice of one of my 3 new Traveler's Notebooks. So Traveler's Notebooks, and then they come with 2 lined inserts. So those 2 winners were Jackie Brennan, and then Mary J 433. So I don't know if maybe Mary J 433, I don't know if that's Mary J Blige or not. Now you guys know when I say Mary J Blige, it's not really Mary J Blige. Although I suppose it could be. Nick's working in the garage. I'm working in Harvey, and he's got his Utah sweatshirt on. Yeah, maybe it's who I like to call Mary J Blige because her little name is Mary J. So maybe, I don't know. Mary J433 and Jackie Brennan, your email should tell you to email me in the subject line, put that you're a winner of the Traveler's Notebook, and then send me your name and address and let me know which one that you'd like. Third winner, and this will be another prize. Well, I'll just let the cat out of the bag now. We're doing 3 prizes again today. And 2 lucky winners will also win their choice of one of my new Traveler's Notebooks since they're brand spanking new. And the third winner will win one of my, do you suppose it's there? No. Hold on, just looking. I think I put it away. No, there's all kinds of stuff in here. One of my 2023 year in review Traveler's Notebook project kits. So, one person won that today, and that was the 76401 Wallaces. And I think that's Elizabeth Wallace. I think I recognized your little face, so I think that might be Elizabeth Wallace. The 76401 Wallaces. So those are the 3 winners from the last time that we were together. And those are the exact same 3 prizes I'm running with today. 2 people will win their choice of the brand new Traveler's Notebooks, and then 1 person will win the 2023 About Last Month, or 2023 year in review Traveler's Notebook kit and class. Okay, whew. That's a lot of talking. That is a lot of talking. So let me just check at the chat really quick to make sure I didn't miss, well, I know I missed tons of stuff, but let's see. Oh, I didn't miss too much. Stacy just finished her first Traveler's Notebook and now she's ready to bind it. Love that. Yeah, I didn't miss a lot. You guys aren't too chatty this morning. Wanda's been working on some fall spreads. She has 1 left for Halloween. Hi, Louisa. Nice to see you from sunny California. Oh, the little ghost. I know. Isn't he cute? He's just a little felty, like a little felty ghost. And then you have these little guys, little felty pumpkins, right? Just little cute things, right? Just little cute things. Nowhere else in my house is decorated for Halloween. That's it. That's all it's going to be. Let's see. Debbie has one of the Traveler's Notebooks. A lot of you have the Traveler's Notebooks, which I love so much. Thank you. Mrs. Craft Happy is just getting started with listing. She saw a sample at She Loves Color. Beautiful, and she doesn't know where to start. All right. First of all, I love that you're joining us. Yes, we did just meet at She Loves Color. And She Loves Color was an event I was teaching at in Wisconsin last weekend. And I had a table there in the store with all my product and then a bunch of samples. So I love it that you decided you want to kind of dip your toe in and see what it's all about. Enough people have been asking me, like, how do I start? How do I start? And to me, that's like the most basic question. I'm like, well, just start. And then people look at me with deer in the headlights. So I'm like, okay, I get it. There's enough people asking that. So my goal is by the end of the year, I'll have a blog post that talks about how to start, how to get started, what to do. I'll have an email about that as well. So just watch for that. Now, most of you, or many of you that are here, I shouldn't say most of you, but many of you have already started. And I think many of you just dove in. That's how I started. I just dove in. 8 years ago, I just kind of dove in. So what I would love, those of you that are here and you're in the chat, if you have advice for, okay, hang on, Mrs. Craft Happy, if you have advice for her on what you might suggest that she could do to start, I'd love it if you'd share that in the chat because I can just sit here and blah, 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 blah. But you guys have started. So if you want to share, I'd love that. Love that, love that, love that. All right. I think we are ready to... okay, so there's a way to start. She said, I want to recreate some of those pages. I also bought your book. There we go. That's a good one. Okay, friends, I'm going to rotate the camera and we're going to get started, okay? Because I could stand here and talk all day long. I could, whoopsie, that is way crooked. I could stand here and talk all day long, or we can play. And I don't know about you, I'd rather play. Although, I'll be talking too, so I'll talk and play and talk and play and... you know, that's just kind of what we do. All right, but I need to get the lights on. I need to get the studio lights on and the overhead lights off. And then we will play. Oh my goodness, that is like so wonky. Hi, Colleen. Oh yes, I love it when Colleen's here. Colleen is always so good about reminding me to plug my phone in. To plug my phone in when okay, we're still, hang on, it's gonna get better in a minute. There we go. To plug my phone in. So Colleen, you will be so happy to know that your persistence in reminding me to turn on the phone or plug my phone in has paid off, because now when you're not here, other people remind me. In fact, when I was just teaching last night or yesterday at that virtual event I was talking about, TK, who we sometimes see here, is one of you guys. She reminded me to plug my phone in, so I sure appreciate that. Let's see, Debbie, don't you have a part 3 video on how to get started? I watched it and it was helpful. So Debbie, you may be referring to way back in the early days of the pandemic, I think, when I had started doing a couple of videos. It's funny because I was looking at those, maybe I'm going to say on Thursday, as I was kind of reliving all that and then looking at content that I had out there. So that may be a great way to start. So Mrs. Crafty something, I can't remember the rest of what that was. But there are, in the very early days, so some classes that I did that were not live, that I put out there. I think actually the first 2 weren't live. I think the rest of them were live. But there may have been a kind of getting started, how to decorate type video, maybe. Paper Piece, I love it, said just start anywhere and dive in. Just start anywhere and dive in. Kathy had a great suggestion. Kathy said start with the year in review kit in class. It's a simple project that keeps you accountable all year long. So that is actually a great segue for our first list. I just want to read what Deborah said, Beach Gal. She said, advice, don't compare what you are doing to everyone else. As Layle says, you do you. Some of you know an individual by the name of the Reset Girl, Corey Speaker. I would say, I've been making lists forever and a day, ever since I was a little kid. I've always made lists. That's how my mind can process all the things that I need to get done. So I've always been a big list maker. But I want to say it's probably been 7 or 8 years ago now when I started doing creative listing, and the person that kind of got me into that was Corey Speaker, the Reset Girl. That's when I worked at Simple Stories, and we actually did a co-branded line of products or co-branded collection with Corey under her Reset Girl brand. So she and I got to know each other pretty well. I was at PlannerCon one year. We were teaching and I was in one of her classes, just kind of listening and participating. And I heard her say something that I thought was really, really, really smart. And she said this kind of more in relation to life. So it could be in relation to life. It could be in relation to crafting. It could be in relation to listing. Maybe if you've just started running, really anything that you're just starting to do. She said, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle, okay? Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. And that one has just stuck with me, because what you don't know, you may be just starting to do something. Let's just take running, for example. You may be just starting to run and you are out there huffing and puffing and you are doing your best in your first 5K and it takes you 2 hours. Now, even if you walked, it probably wouldn't take you 2 hours to do a 5K, but I'll just kind of over exaggerate there. You may be taking forever, but you're doing it, you did it, and then you see somebody blow past you who finished in 20 minutes. You can't compare your running to theirs because you just started. You have no idea where they are in their journey. They could have been running since they were 6 years old. Maybe they've qualified and run the Boston Marathon for years. So don't compare yourself to what other people are doing because you don't know how long they've been doing it. I just thought that was something that really kind of struck with me. So I do always say, like Deborah said, Beach Gal, you do you. You do what works for you. The only thing you need to do what we do here on Saturdays is something to write with and something to write on. Literally, those are the only 2 things. So other than that, you decide what you want to use, what you want to put in, what you don't want to put in, where you want to start. You could just take the idea book and go to page, 33 and write about your favorite fall memories. You don't need the idea book because all the content's out here on YouTube free. It's just the idea book kind of puts it all together. Wanda said, Layle, I'm just so glad I found you many years ago. This is the longest I have stayed at one particular scrapbooking craft. I love that for you, Wanda. And I think just for some reason, this type of crafting, documenting, storytelling, scrapbooking, whatever you want to call it, journaling, resonates with a lot of people because it's easy. It is easy. There's not a lot of pressure. You're working in a very small format. You don't have to start at a particular time. You don't have to stop at a particular time, because we're doing lists from when we were kids, from when we're adults, things that we want to do in the future. So we're bouncing all over the board when it comes to the different types of listing topics that we're doing. The other thing is, I know a lot of people, because I've been teaching scrapbooking classes for many, many years, like almost 20 years. People don't like their writing, and they're worried about what to say. So if you're working in a journal or you're working on a scrapbook page and you want to talk about how excited you are about the birth of your new grandbaby, let's just say, you don't write because you feel like you have to be eloquent. You feel like you have to be Ernest Hemingway. And none of us are Ernest Hemingway. Some of you may come close, but none of us are Ernest Hemingway. When you boil things down to making a list as opposed to having to write it out, it takes off all the pressure. So going back to that example, maybe you're a brand new grandma and you are so excited about your new grandbaby. Instead of writing a journal about why you're excited, make a list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because you love to knit and you made the baby a new little knit outfit. You were so excited to see Christmas through a child's eyes, whatever it is. It's a lot easier, I think, in my opinion, to make a list than it is to try to write something out. So I think that's maybe why it just resonates with a lot of people. All right, here we go. So our first list. Oh, before we start with the first list, I always like to start out with the list that we did the last time we were together. So we were last together on the 6th of October. So the 6th, that doesn't make sense, the 7th. I think we were last together the 7th of October. Yeah, we were together on Saturday. So what, 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. So we did 3 lists, 3 or 4? 4, I think we actually did 4. I want to say we did 4. All right. One of the lists that we did was in the news. In the news is a list that I like to do once a month where I am just capturing the facts, and that is it. When we do this list, I don't give any commentary about any of the things in the news. The news can be very political. It can be very polarizing. So there's no commentary that I make. There's no commentary that happens in the chat. I'm just basically making a list of some of the things that had happened. Now, last week or 3 weeks ago, last time we were together when we did this list, I did something I'd never done before. Because I've been traveling so much, we missed this list for August. And so I was making a list for September, and I thought, well, we missed August. I don't want to go back and do another list for August because ain't nobody got time for that. So we actually did 2 months in one list. So I did a column here, August, and those were the photos, August. Column September, photos September. So that's always a fun one. And that's another one of those I call them lists on repeat. That is a list that we usually do every month in the news. I'll skip that one. We'll come back to that one because that'll be a good segue for us. Didn't we do 3? Hang on. Oh, we did. Okay. Second one that we did is also another repeat list. This is another one that we do every month. And this one is very much a what I like to call a time capsule list. So this is basically a snapshot of a day. I do this every month. It's called Today Looks Like This. I use a paper pad from Everyday Explorers. Those have been out of stock for a while. Those are now back in stock. They just came back in stock. So if you were waiting for that to come back in, it's now back in. But basically, I just pick a day. That day, I make sure to write down or keep a note of everything I did in the day. And then we sit down once a month and just kind of really basic. Today looks like this. This type of list, I said time capsule, is the kind of list that I think, oh my goodness, I wish so much that I had this from my mother or my grandmother. Like, think about that. If I had a list of what my grandmother was doing on October 6th of 1957, that would be so cool. It'd just be so interesting to see how things have changed over the years, over the generations. Even if I was doing a list like this when I was in high school or when I was college or when I first started working or when Nick and I first got married or when I was a new mom, right? When I was a new mom, my list would be quite a bit different than it is now. So it's one of my favorite type of time capsule lists that we do every month. We did this guy. We did a fun Halloween list. This was a list of my favorite Halloween memories. Now, we had done a favorite Halloween memories list in the past, but I didn't put all of my favorite Halloween memories on my last list. So we did another one last week, and we played with a couple of different stamp sets. We played with the In the Box stamp set. That's how I made all those little boxes. And then we also played with Willie Alpha Willie Alpha Solid and Willie Alpha. So Willie Alpha is the outline, and then Solid is the solid. So when we're together, we stamp, we laugh, we do a lot of different things. This is a little bit of a different list than I normally do. In a lot of cases, my lists are super basic, like they're just a bulleted list like that. But sometimes it is fun to, when I make a list, add a little bit more information. Like one of my favorite Halloween memories is costumes. Well, I feel like I need to expand on that just a little bit more, like the time that we dressed up as the Village People with another couple, and we went Halloween parties. I think we did about 3 that night. This is long before we had kids. And we dressed up like the Village People. We had our little boombox, and we'd go in, and everyone would stop, and we'd do our Village People dance and play music. And so just kind of expanding on, a little bit more on some memories I do on some of my lists. All right. The fourth list, we did 4 last week. The fourth list is when we're going to start out again with today. Every month, I do a list called About Last Month. And I have been doing these about 3 years now. So I have 36 months worth of these lists. This type of list for me is super easy to do. This type of documenting is super easy to do because all I'm doing is taking some photos and pairing it with a run-on list. So what is on this list could be anything from things that I did, things that Nick did, places we went, things that we watched on TV, people that we met. September and October were pretty big. Well, actually, I should just say September. September was a pretty big month for me in terms of people that I met. I met one of the voice contestants in the stairwell of the hotel as she was practicing. I was there teaching at an event in Burbank, and the voice hadn't even started yet, and she sang me a couple songs. Just me, she and I in the hotel room. In the hotel, in the stairwell of the hotel. So met her, that's Jordan Rayner. Also met in a very bizarre, at the swimming pool, no one else around, Pink. Like the Pink singer. And we had a 30-minute conversation about parenting and kids. So that was like a highlight. That will definitely make my about last year when I do that in January. That will definitely make one of my highlights. So, but that is the list we're going to start out with today. I do this usually the first Saturday of a new month. And I decided we would do October today since we won't be together again until November 18th. So we're going to start out with About Last Month, October. Let me pull this out of my traveler's notebook here. My, how do I say this? What is this? My documenting platform of choice? I don't know. I like to use traveler's notebooks. And so that's what you see me use here every Saturday. But you can use anything. You could use a spiral notebook, a composition notebook. You could use scratch paper, whatever it is that you're using. You do you. You use what you'd like, but I use my traveler's notebook. All right, so I'm going to skip this page because this is ready and waiting for a single page list. I am making a double page list. So I need to come here till I have my next double page spread. Hi, Melinda, the crafty confidant. Oh, look at that. Scrapped NH, I love that. Scrapped NH just said, I love the new phrase, do it scared. You may be scared, worried, shy, but the point is just do it. Do it scared. I like that. That's a good one. That is very much a good one. Okay, so as we start out, I've printed my photo ahead of time, which is usually what I do. I print the photos that I'm using every time change, obviously for the month, but then the format that I print also changes. So sometimes I have fewer photos, sometimes I have more photos. There was a lot that went on in my world during the month of October, so I decided to print more photos. I use the Epson PictureMate PM400 printer to do this. So I print 98% of my photos on that printer. I do mostly print at home because I printed this morning. I would love to say that I'm prepared weeks in advance, but I'm not. That's not how my life works. So I need to be able to print on demand, and I can do that with that printer at home. I make a photo like this with the app that accompanies it called the Epson Creative Print app. Excuse me. In that app, there are pre-configured templates. So there's a ton of pre-configured templates where you can decide if you want 4x6, 5x7. It also does 3.5x5. But all kinds of pre-configured templates. So this one, I picked a 5x7 and I said, oh, I want the 5x7 that gives me 12 little photos. I'm going to do something a little bit different in my about last month, this month. I'm going to do something that I did back in April. And anytime someone sees this, they're like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? So I thought we'd do this again this month. So back in April, I made a pocket and I created photo strips, okay? Don't those look like the little photo booth strips, right? So I created different little like photo booth strips. But the way that I did that, I didn't have to have a photo booth. I didn't have to have fancy software to do any of that. All I did was print out my photo like this, and I'm just going to cut between each of those columns of photos, and then that will give me my photo looking strips, my photo booth strips. Hi, Virginia Greco from Barcelona. Nice to see you. Yes, lots of people use different printers. Wanda's saying she uses a Canon Selfie or sometimes a Sprocket. A Sprocket is a little handheld printer. You can print usually about 2.5 by 3, 2.5 by 3.5, maybe really small kind of pocket-sized photos, but that's what I use. I know lots of people here have started using that printer because it's a pretty awesome printer. And I've linked to that in the description box of the video down below. Speaking of description box, there's a ton of information and links in the description box of the video down below. One of them that you might be interested in is one called What I'm Using. So when you click on the What I'm Using, it takes you to a page on my website that shows you all the products I'm using. And then if you see any of those that you want to buy, you can just click add to cart. All right, so I'm going to start out with that guy. Oh, I need a trimmer. I won't get too far today without my trimmer. So you should have seen my desk last night after I taught a 4-hour December documented class at the 3 Craft Chicks virtual retreat. And then 2 hours later did a 1-hour demo kind of showing all my new stamps and idea book and all that. So I had cleaned all of that up, and now here we are, Halloween again. All right, so I'm going to come in and just trim these little guys. So I'll have little photo booth looking strips. So that's just a 5x7 that I am now trimming down. Lots of fun things to add to my list for the month of October. All right, so look at how easy that was, right? So easy. Okay, let's go to what I want to use. Normally when I do about last month, normally I am not adding any kind of pattern paper because I'm putting my photo made up of multiple photos over here, and then I'm just kind of decorating around it. But since I'm doing a pocket, I do need to have something here for pattern paper that I'm going to use to create a little pocket. So I think what I might do, I have to be thinking here about what I want to put on here because I know I want to decorate it. I know I want to put, you know, maybe like a little ghosty on here and maybe like this little guy on that little pocket. So I think what I will do, I think I'll use this one. Collection I'm using for my About Last Month list today is Happy Halloween from American Crafts. So you'll find that linked in the description box of the video. So I think I'll use this guy. That is obviously spider webs, black spider webs, but I think you can probably see that kind of has an iridescent foil. That whitish looking is iridescent foil. So that'll kind of make it fun. All right, so last time I did a straight across pocket. This time I think I'm going to do a slanted or a slash pocket. So I pulled papers out from the 6x8 paper pad from that Happy Halloween collection. Most of the time I'm using 6x8 paper pads when I'm working in my traveler's notebook. The inserts that I use, don't mind that, that's just the back where it tore a little bit. Inserts I use are called standard wide. So standard is 8.25 and wide is 5. So 5 by 8.25, that's the size I use. So I like to use 6 by 8 paper pads because when you think about 5 by 8.25, when you think of 6 by 8, they work very well together, right? They work very well together. So I am going to trim this down to a little bit less than 5. Okay, I'm trimming that to a little bit less than 5. The reason why I want to go a little bit less than 5, even though this is 5 inches wide, I lose a little tiny bit right there in the center from the stapled binding. So that'll give me enough room. I'll have a little bit of a white border all around. So instead of going straight across, I think what I'd like to do, I'm going to make a little slanted or slash pocket. So I'm just kind of make a little mark right there. And keep an eye on where I want that to be. And then I think I'll go up. Oh, can't see very well now. I think let's try that and see what we think. Okay, there's my little slash pocket. So I just decided I wanted to go up. That's probably about 2 inches and then went up. That's, well, let's see, we don't need to guess. That is, oh my goodness, that's 4 inches right there. And that one is about 2 1/4. So if you wanted to follow along, about 2 1/4 there and 4 inches there. Because that is a pocket, right? I want to be able to take my photo strips out of the pocket. I need to just apply my adhesive around the sides and the bottom. Now it's funny, you're kind of getting a little bit, or maybe not, it's just that iridescent. I thought you were picking up orange off of my striped orange Halloween sweater. Well, it's not really a Halloween sweater. It's just when you wear a striped orange sweater this time of year, then you can call it a Halloween sweater. I just had to grab my little corner rounder here. So before I do anything, I want to round this lower corner. I like to round the corner because my inserts have rounded corners, so I'll round the corner there. I am still working in. I haven't started working for our listing yet in one of my new Layle by Mail Traveler's Notebook inserts because I am in the middle of one that I've been working on, right? So I'll finish this one up and then I'll start working in my new Traveler's Notebook inserts. Hi, Paula. We are working on About Last Month for October. So even though October's not quite over, we won't be together again until the 18th of November. So I thought, well, let's do it now. Let's do it now. All right. So I have grabbed some double-sided tape, okay, or like score tape. I want to use something that's a little bit stronger than my regular tape runner. The reason I want to do that is anytime I'm doing something interactive, and this is considered interactive, right? Because I may be pulling the photos in and out to look at, or someone may be pulling the photos in and out to look at. I want to make sure it is nice and strong so that that pocket is not going to come off. So I use my double-sided tape here. Just put that along the edges and along the bottom. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to reveal maybe about 1/4 of that sticky. All right, so I revealed about 1/4 of it and I left that little side hanging out the edge. I'm going to do the same thing here, like that. And I'm going to do the same thing here like that. My friend Joey that works for Photo Play Paper taught me this. I thought this was just genius, and I do that. The reason I do that, if you've ever worked with double-sided tape, basically you have one shot and one shot only to get it where you want it, because once it's down, it ain't moving. It's stuck. So by just revealing a little bit of that sticky, that actually makes it so look at, I can totally move that around. You cannot do that if all that sticky is off, right? Or all the protective is off. So I can kind of work it around here, make sure I get it nice and centered where I want it to be. That looks pretty good. Then I can pull out those extra little pieces, reveal all the sticky. All right, so there's my little pocket, my cute little pocket. I better do some outlining here because it will look very odd to me if I don't. So I'm just taking my little fine tip Sharpie. That is my writing tool of choice, is a fine tip Sharpie. This one is a felt tip. I just brought in rollerball tips on a Sharpie. So I think they're new. Someone showed them to me. My friend Lindsay showed them to me a couple weeks ago when I was teaching at a Halloween retreat. So these are now available on my website. It is just as fine. Oh, I know. I'll show you the difference because we did this when I did a What's New Wednesday this week. If you want to see the difference. So up top is the rollerball Sharpie, and below that is the OG, the one I've been using for years, the felt. So basically, there really is no difference when you look at the result, right? It looks very, very similar. The only difference that I know or I notice is the feel. So when I am writing with a felt pen, it actually kind of drags a little bit. You know what I mean? If you're the felt, kind of drags a little bit on the paper. If you're writing with a rollerball, it is nice and smooth. But other than that, pretty much they seem to be the exact same thing. But that's what I'm using, my original OG felt one. All right, so now my little photos can kind of go in there. I messed with a little bit kind of the placement of some of the photos so that I wanted to put a few more of the Halloween ones kind of towards the top so you would see a little bit more Halloween. Now, obviously, other things happened in the month of October in my world besides Halloween, lots of teaching, and went to the Pink concert in October. I'll talk about that a little bit more. Taught at my friend Lizzie's Halloween retreat, dressed up as pink ladies, lots of other things. But so there are my little photos. So there's the start. So I had mentioned I thought I might want to use that little ghost. I thought that little ghost might be cute. Maybe this little guy. Maybe those two could go like that. And then I felt like we just need something maybe over here like this. So I've pulled out the, let's see. So if I do that, that totally works. However, I kind of have this whole space right here. And I don't know if I like that little guy because it's vellum. So it's a little bit see-through. So let's see what else. Oh, well, guess what? We know we've got to add some of those over there. The best candy ever. One of the things that, and I'm not kidding, I really like that. Oh, look at that. Happy Halloween would probably work. And I like that. It's a little bit more prominent that way. So what if we did, sometimes we just got to move the things around and see if we like the way they're looking. I have this kind of giant space up here, which is not really making me happy though. So let's see what else we might add. Little kitty. All right, kitty's cute. Skeleton kitty is cute. However, he totally blends in, so we don't use him. We don't want to use him there, but we could use him over here, maybe. Maybe. Oh, okay. What about this one? That's a different version of Happy Halloween. So what if, what if we did it like this maybe, and it looks like our pumpkin's saying Happy Halloween? I think I like that. I think that will work. And then I will find some kind of word strip, I bet, to go down in here. So let's do that. Oh, I need this little guy, my tape runner. I need my tape runner. Virginia says she adores the ghosts, and Belinda threw in some little squirrels. I'm very interested, you guys. Not very chatty. Group today is not super chatty. Usually, I look up at the chat and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going so fast. I can't even see what people are saying. Susan said we give trick-or-treaters a choice of candy corn or M&Ms. Candy corn is always the most popular. Really? So one of the next lists that we're doing, one of the things on the next list is just one thing, not the whole thing, is favorite candy. So it's not the whole list, it's just one little item on the list. And so Nick and I were talking about this morning because part of our little routine is to, in the morning on a Saturday morning, he's like, what are your lists for today? And then we're just chatting about whatever they are. So one of the items on one of my next lists, favorite candy, and I'm like, oh, my favorite candy. What's my favorite candy? And I'm like, well, I like peanut M&Ms. I like this. I like that. And I said, I really like candy corn. And he starts laughing. And I'm like, I really like candy corn. You know I like candy corn. And he goes, you and no one else. Like, you are the only one in the world that loves candy corn. I'm like, that is not true. That is not true. And he didn't believe me. So I know some of you will be here to agree with me that candy corn is good. I know it's very polarizing. I said we shouldn't talk politics and we shouldn't get polarizing, but I just did. Candy corn is a very polarizing topic. You either love it or you hate it, and there's nothing in between. And Rainey and I can be friends because Rainey loves candy corn. Virginia, I think what you were trying to say is, unfortunately here in Spain, Halloween is not a big thing. You wrote, unfortunately here in pain. And I'm like, oh no, Virginia's in pain. I think you meant Spain. That's funny. Let's see. Team Candy Corn. Yes, 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 Team Candy Corn. See, look at all the people that love candy corn. Nick needs to see. He knows. Now, Debbie and I could be really good friends because Debbie said, I love candy corn mixed with salty peanuts. Yes, that's like if you've never tried candy corn with peanuts, you take a candy corn, take a peanut or a cashew and eat them in the same bite. It is so good. Kind of tastes like a payday, like a little payday candy bar. All right, so that's a good start. We know we need a little word strip sticker down here somewhere. We'll get to that in a bit. I love this collection. This Happy Halloween collection is so stinking cute. Look at these. Deborah, Layle, I guess we have to break up. Candy corn is nasty. Well, Deborah, I'm sure we could find other things in common besides candy corn then. Deborah, we can't let candy corn ruin our relationship. All right, those witch legs I thought were so cute. So I think I might have to have witch legs over here on this side of my list. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I usually, as I am doing this list every month, I start out with I start out with the photo. I always start out with the photo and I get the photo placed and then I kind of start doing a little bit of decorating and then I'll move to my list and then I'll do a little bit more decorating. So this is kind of fun. I met someone, it was the same person. I met the same person, well, not the same person. She told me two things, that I met her at She Loves Color. And if she's here, she's going to laugh. I don't remember her name, and I told her I would not remember her name. I meet too many people, and it's very difficult for me to remember names, but I remember faces, and I told her I would never forget this story. So, one of the things that she told me, she's been doing this kind of about last month for a while now. And someone in her family or a friend, they were having a conversation and they were like, hey, when was it that this happened? And she said, I know. All I have to do is go get my about last month list and look through them and I can tell you exactly what month that happened in. So that's kind of a fun thing that comes out of about last month. The other thing that she told me, and I got the biggest kick out of it, and I said, now I will never forget you for this. I can still see her face and I can still picture her face in my head. She said, do you know what I discovered? She said, and I didn't quite, now that I think about it, I'm not quite sure how this worked, but she said, if I need to do something in my traveler's notebook, the best place to do it is the bathroom. Because when I'm in the bathroom, then no one's disturbing me and I can get a lot done then. So I don't know how that works out, but I told her I was never going to forget that. I told her I was never going to forget that, her story about working on a traveler's notebook or reading a traveler's notebook, or I don't know how she's doing it, but she's doing it in the bathroom. So I thought that was kind of funny. All right, little ghosty. And then of course we've got a few little candy canes. So maybe candy corn. Oh, that's perfect there. I have this little space here. See that weird little kind of blank space? It looks funny. It looks funny to me. The reason it looks funny, there's a design principle that a lot of times you want to stay away from. It's called trapped white space. So that's what we have right there. We have that little space. It's trapped. It just kind of looks funny because it looks like something needs to go there, right? Sometimes you look at something and you don't realize why it doesn't look right to you, but you know it doesn't look right. That's trapped white space. That does not look right to me. But guess what? My little candy corn friend can come in and help kind of fix that trapped white space. So we're going to put that little candy corn right there. And then that will fix that. I have a little bit of that going on down here, but not as much because it kind of goes up this way, but I still have a little bit of that there that I will deal with later. Well, we'll get there. I'll deal with that. Okay, so there we go. Yes, Wanda, I am using the Happy Halloween collection. Yes, yes, yes. It's so fun. I just love it so much. Now, I'm using kind of the traditional colors that are part of it, but it has also that really bright, fun teal in it. And then it has pops of kind of this that purple there too. All right, so there we go. There's kind of a good start. Now what I need to move over to before I do any more decorating, I need to do my title over here. So my title always, 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 for a year, uses the exact same stamp set. And then once that year is over, I migrate to a new stamp set because I will have a new stamp set at that time. So the one I'm using for this year is called About Last Month 2023. So I need to grab 3 stamps from this stamp set. I need to grab OCT for October. I need to grab About Last Month, and I need to grab 2023. As a variation, this came at a request from some people that have been doing this with me for a couple of years. They said, could we have another word besides About Last Month if we didn't want to use that? I said, sure. Month in review. So you could call it month in review. You could call it About Last Month, whichever works for you. And some of you do this with me using the stamp set. Some of you bought the 2023 Year in Review project kit and did the class with me. So, but some of you do this entirely on your own. You do it with your own supplies. You're not doing it with a stamp set, or you're using a different stamp set, which I love. From my perspective, I just want you to do it. Whatever you use is up to you, but I think it's really important to document things like this because you're telling your own history, right? I think that's very important. I mean, I've been a scrapbooker, crafter, memory keeper, whatever you want to call it, for about 26 years when I was pregnant with our oldest son, Jack. So it's always been a big part of my life. All right, I need some ink. Let's look at what we want to use. So I have pulled out my ink swatches. I always swatch my inks anytime I get a new ink. I swatch it. So anytime Tim Holtz comes out with a new distress color, that's usually the first thing we do when we're together is I swatch it using my Swatch This stamp set. But the nice thing there is I have all my colors right at hand. I don't have to go now digging through all of my different orange tins, ink pads to see which color I want, or, you know, whatever color I'm looking for. So I think I kind of decided ahead of time that I thought I wanted to use Spiced Marmalade. So Spiced Marmalade, Rusty Hinge is a little bit of a darker orange. And then you have Ripe Persimmon, which is really bright. And then you have Carved Pumpkin, which is kind of a lighter orange. So those would be the 4 that I would be working with. And I decided I'm going to use Ripe Persimmon. Now, I think I might try to pull in this little green color. So let's see if I have a little green that matches that. I think Shabby Shutters, maybe? Shabby Shutters might be a little bit too light. Oh, maybe Twisted Citron. I think it's Twisted Citron. I think Shabby Shutters is going to be a little bit too, well, I think when I stamp with it, it's going to be a little bit too light. So I think we'll do Twisted Citron and, what did I say, Ripe Persimmon? I think Twisted Citron and Ripe Persimmon. Oh, okay, just saw something. Over here, Ripe Persimmon and Twisted Citron. So, I store my inks in the same order that I store these, okay? Because then I know exactly where to find my inks. I do these in Roy G. Biv order. So the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So I always know that if I'm looking for blue, well, red, orange, yellow, green, it's going to be either before the green or, after the green or before the violet or the purple. Anyhow. All right, so I need 3 ink colors. I always need 3 ink colors. Well, I like to use 3 ink colors when I do this. So if we look back to my example from August, I did 3 ink colors. So I'm using 3 stamps, so it kind of gives me an opportunity to do 3 ink colors. Actually, I am going to use 4 ink colors because I'm going to do a little bit of a shadow effect with October. Oh, see, this is how you can tell that we have not been together listing much because I've been traveling, because there's August and then September is right there. Also use 3 ink colors there. All right, so I will use black as a color. Yes, black is a color. And then I'm going to do a little shadow effect. So for my shadow effect, I'm going to use I think I'll do Lost Shadow. Well, let me look. Let's look here. I've pulled out a couple of different grays. Now, since it's going to be a shadow, I want it to be fairly faint. Let's just take a look at those 3 different grays, right? They all look, I think it'll be like this. I think that's going to be light, medium, and dark. So let's look at the swatches to see. Grays would be back here, before the black, after the brown. weathered wood is a little bit of a gray. Now I've got kind of a greeny blue. Okay, so there's Lost Shadow. There's Hickory Smoke. Where do you suppose I have pumice stone? That's interesting, huh? Wonder where I put pumice stone. I don't know. So I think I'll go with Lost Shadow. That's just odd. I've put pumice stone somewhere where it doesn't belong for some reason. It must have looked like it should go in another spot. But anyhow, I'm going to use Lost Shadow, and I'll have to figure out later because now that's going to bug me. I wonder if I never... No, I know I would have swatched it. Okay, Lost Shadow is going to be my the fourth color that I'm going to bring in. So when I am working with if I want to do some kind of shadow, in this case, I want to do the light color first, and then I will put the darker color on top of it. So I think that I may do orange for October, do Lost Shadow stamped first in orange. I'll do that one, excuse me. Lost Shadow, let's just do it. Let's just do it, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Because I test it all first. I always test it. So my real book gets out of the way while I test. So testing lets me do a couple things. Number one, it helps me make sure that I'll do that there. Oh, there's a little peek at a new stamp set that's coming. You get a little peek of that. The make and take that I did for the virtual retreat. What am I looking for? The other night. Oh, stamping blocks. Their make and take included one of my brand new stamp sets. So they got an early peek at that. All right. So I need a couple different stamp blocks. I'm a firm believer in the right tool for the job. So if I can use a very small stamping block for my little small stamp and a larger stamping block for my larger stamp, that's going to make it a lot easier than trying to, for example, take the least common denominator and use that one for all of my my stamps. So we'll end up using those three. Okay, so I have already conditioned my stamps because I have been using these actually for a little bit more than a year now. Well, not quite a year, I guess, because, well, it doesn't matter. I have used, not quite right. Let me get this a little bit closer to me. So what I'm doing here, I'm putting my stamp down on my work surface, and then I am picking it up with my stamping block. Sometimes it's a lot easier to do that than it is to try to get your stamp straight by putting it on your fingers and then putting it on your block. So I will do that with all three of my stamps. Always testing here. Or not here, always testing here. So like I said, I think I wanted to do shadow. I'll do shadow first, and then I want to put my primary color on top of that. So let's go ahead and test this out. I already conditioned my stamps. It's really important before you start using a stamp or a new stamp set that you have conditioned them. They are not ready to be used right out of the package. That was something that was a huge aha to me when I really started getting into stamping a couple of years ago, probably about 3 years ago. I have not always liked stamping. And then I learned the reason why I always haven't liked stamping is because nobody told me you need to condition your stamps before you use them. There is a very fine coating, you can't see it, invisible to the eye, on your photopolymer and acrylic stamps. So you need to get that coating off, and you can't just pick it off. There's nothing to pick off. It's just a little coating. You need to get it off. You can either just do this by stamping a bunch of times until it looks right, doesn't have a lot of weird little spots in it. Some people say you can do this and just kind of do it on your arm or your hand. You do you. I don't do that because I have lotion and all kinds of things on my hand, and then I'm worried about that kind of interfering with the stamp. But I use a white rubber eraser. I just lightly erase over the top of the whole stamp set at once, and then clean that off with my stamp chamois, dry it off really well, and then I'm ready to go. So that would be my first layer right there. This one, I'm not going to worry about cleaning off. I'm just going to maybe stamp it a few times, make sure there's no residual ink on there. And now I'm going to do my top layer. So we'll see if I like it here, right? It's much better to test and make sure that I like it over here on my little sample, my test notebook, before I do it on my project. So I first want to make sure that that's looking good, that I like the color. I like the color. It's actually going to be super bright. So now that I see that, it's probably fine. But that's something it will do for you, right? You can test it. We looked at the swatch. We thought we liked it, but it's a good idea to test out the color again to make sure you like it. Also a good idea to test to make sure you don't have any little hairs or fibers in your stamped image on your stamp, because if you have that, it's going to affect the outcome, right? You'll end up with a little stamped image with a little hair in it, or a place where there's no ink because there was a hair in it. All right, so there's my little shadow, okay? So it's super faint, right? Like a shadow in real life would be. It is super faint. So I stamped with the Lost Shadow, or the gray first, and then stamped with that orange on top of it. Now what's kind of interesting about that, as those two kind of interact a little bit together, because they will interact, because I'm using Distress Oxide, so they're pigment-based ink, they can kind of interact together. This is now toned down a little bit as opposed to this one. So it just kind of tones it down just a tad. So I like that. It's going to give me kind of a fun little shadow effect. So I need to come in right now. I need to clean the orange off, right? I need to clean the orange off because I need to start with Lost Shadow. I need to start with my light color. So I've just grabbed my little stamp chamois here. I'm cleaning that off. That orange is now gone. But I need to make sure to dry that and dry it thoroughly. If you're using pigment-based inks are water reactive, okay? Distress Oxide's primarily what I use. They're water reactive. So if I don't dry that off completely, as soon as I apply ink to that and stamp, I may not like the way it looks. If I didn't intend to have water reacting with that ink, then I'm probably not going to like the way it looks. So you want to fully dry. I use just a little white microfiber cloth, so that way I don't get any little fibers in my stamp, on my stamp. All right, so we're just about ready to start stamping on our project. I am going to grab out a super important tool at this point. I am, I don't know, maybe about almost halfway through my insert. What that means is I have a lot of stuff that has been going on up until this point. There are a lot of bumps under here. There's a lot of things that could potentially interfere with my stamped image if I try to stamp directly on here. I can tell you right now, this right here would interfere because that's a little puffy sticker. So if I didn't use this tool and I just start stamping directly on here, it's not going to work out because I'm going to have that little bump in the middle. What I can do to prevent that is use something like this. This is a pencil board. So, and this is one of my products, but pencil board can be anything. If you want to make them, you can make them. You could make it out of chipboard. You could make it out of, like, you could go to the dollar store and get a really thin, like, plastic cutting board. You just want something that is hard, that is going to give you a flat surface to stamp on. So here would not be a flat surface because of that. But if I put this here, now I have a flat surface to stamp on, and that is going to set me up for more successful stamping, right? So that is a pencil board. That's what a pencil board is used for. It's a fancy name for a flat surface that you put underneath something so you can stamp or stamp or write on it. Some people use them for writing as well. All right, so we're going back in and we are re-inking up our OCT. Get that all nice and inked up. Oh, hang on. I think it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right. I always try to go about 5 lines down. So it's about in the same space every time. So, whoopsie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And I'm going to go a little bit off center here. A little bit off center because I want my orange to be on center. Maureen, is persimmon available from my website? That's a good question, Maureen. I don't know. I think I have like 40 or 50 colors now, but I'm not sure if persimmon is one. So check. All right, now I want to clean that off. I'm going to clean that off. And again, it's wet right now. I don't want it to be wet because it will definitely react with the ink I'm about to put on top of it. So we want to clean it off and then dry it off. So we don't want it to be damp at all. Some of you have tried stamping before and you're not a fan. And I understand why, because I wasn't a fan for a long time. There were a lot of things I didn't understand about stamping that once I understood them, it made life so much better when it came to stamping. Conditioning is one, and then thoroughly cleaning and drying before you use another color. That is really, really important, especially if you're using a pigment-based ink. And that's what Distress Oxides are. They're a pigment-based ink. All right. Pigment-based ink. I love my Distress Oxides because I call them a juicy ink. That's just my term, but I call them a juicy ink. I want to just look at something here real quick. I call them a juicy ink because I like that they give a nice solid image. All right, I could see this starting to happen on my ink pad. Do you see how I don't have a good coverage? See how it's kind of splotchy right there? I think it maybe wasn't completely dry. So that's an example, a really good example of why you would want to test, even though I'd already tested it out. I could visually see something was happening where the ink was kind of pooling a little bit. It was adhering in some spots and not the other. And so I think I have that going on again here. So let me test it again. And if it's happening again, then I am going to clean it again. Yeah, look at that. See that? How it's just kind of pooling? Let's come back to the drawing board. Clean that off. And make sure we get that really, 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 really dry. Because I think that's what's happening. That water is reacting with the ink on my stamp. So it is not, the ink is not adhering to the stamp in some areas. Let's see what that does for us. Yeah, it's doing it again. So now is when I defer to my friends that are mixed media people, anyone that's on here that uses inks for other things besides stamping. Why is it doing that? Do you know why it's doing that? So the ink is not really adhering in some spots, and I don't know why. That's kind of a first for me. I might need to, I don't think it's the ink pad, because I used it okay over here. Why would it be doing that? So we're learning something, friends. We're learning. Well, I don't know what we're learning yet, but because I don't know why it's doing that, but it's getting a little better. Well, I'm gonna have to do some research on that, guys, because I don't know why. But I can see it. You see how on there it is totally, see how it's kind of pooling? So it is not, it is, when I say pooling, it's like separating in some areas. So for some reason, it is not adhering. You guys see that? I don't know why it's doing that. It's right persimmon. Twist your stamp on the ink pad. Set it off to the side for a bit and let it air dry. Okay, we'll try a couple things. So I'm going to try first, if I twist it, it's going to get worse if I twist it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't particularly, actually it looks a little bit better, but I don't particularly care for that. I like that. I like it to be nice and solid. So I'm going to leave that for a bit. I'm going to come back in and clean it. Now Mindy said use a dye-based ink first. So I don't do dye-based ink. So I don't have any dye-based inks. Pamela said maybe it's not completely clean. So we're going to clean one more time. Try a different orange. Yep. So here's sometimes what we do, you guys, on Saturdays. We learn together, right? We're learning together. If Vicki was here, I'd ask her. She'd tell us. She'd be like, oh, well, it's the blah, 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 blah. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Susan said that happened to her a lot. Now, I have for sure already used this stamp, so it has been conditioned first, so we should be okay there. Get that really, really dry. It should be thoroughly dry now. We're gonna do Kathy's suggestion, where Kathy said try a different orange and see if it happens, okay? Wanda said maybe it's because it's October and it's a wonky month. Maybe the universe wants us all to learn something. We'll see. We'll see what that might be. All right, let's stamp here. Very interesting, because watch this. It works on this one. Ooh, mild sandpapering. Melanie, look it. We'll go ahead and use that one. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. So something with, maybe it's something with my ink pad. Or no, not that one. So I'm not gonna use Ripe Persimmon. I'll come back and switch to, the universe really wanted me to use Spice Marmalade. So that's what we're going to do. So just when Melanie said, what about a mild sandpapering? So Melanie, I'm not sure what you're suggesting. Are you saying just mildly sandpaper the stamp? I want you to explain so I understand before I kind of talk to it. I don't want to assume I understand what you mean. Nancy said maybe some water got on your ink pad. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a curve in the pad. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know what it is. So Debbie said it happened to her the other day with spun sugar. So I'll have to kind of keep maybe over the weekend kind of playing a little bit with the Ripe Persimmon and see. But what's so odd is it worked the first few times I used it, right? It worked the first few times I used it. So I'm not sure what I did. I don't know. Sometimes things just happen and we don't really know why. All right, so I'm coming in now with my orange and I want to offset that just a little bit so it looks like a shadow, okay? Offset that just a little bit so it looks like a shadow. You can see my little shadow, right? So I've got that shadow effect. Now I have a little hole right there, and that hole has nothing to do with the stamp or the ink pad. The hole has to do with the fact that I didn't apply pressure in that area. You can see that little ink is still sitting there on my little stamping block. So we don't panic when that happens because there's a really easy way to fix that, and I'm going to fix that. We'll fix it together. I can do one of two things. Hang on, I'm just going to my little drawer here. I can use a Q-tip, or I can use a little super fine tip paintbrush. I can use either one. So Melanie said extra fine sandpaper. Melanie, I don't know. I would be very nervous. Do you mean on the stamp, or do you mean on the stamping? Do you mean on the stamp or the ink? Again, I want to just clarify. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm taking that super fine. If you're going to do this, this is not the time to pull out your really cheap dollar store paintbrushes. So you want to have a little bit of a nicer quality of fine tip paintbrush. I am not getting it wet. I am just putting a little bit, I'm picking up a little bit of ink on my brush there. And I'm just coming in and I'm going to very lightly paint in that missing spot of ink. Okay? You see how well that works? Ta-da! It's okay. So I just used my little paintbrush. No water. I didn't want to use any water. This is not paper that is ready for water. It's not mixed media paper. If you want to use any kind of wet medium water in your traveler's notebooks, you probably want to use a mixed media insert, and I have those. So let's see, Melanie's answer. Melanie, on the stamp to give it grip for the ink. So here's the deal, Melanie. I don't know. I have never tried that. I don't know if you've tried that before. I would be nervous to put sandpaper on the stamp. Now we know it's not the stamp because I was able to pull out a different ink and it stamped fine. So it has something to do with that ink pad all of a sudden. I don't know what happened all of a sudden, but I would be hesitant to use sandpaper on a stamp because that could totally affect your stamped impression. So I have never tried it. If you've tried it, I'd be interested to know. I'd be really interested to know kind of how that works. And you know what? And it's not new from the factory because I've had that right persimmon for a while. We just saw it work really well the first couple times I did it. But sometimes it happens, I guess. I don't know why, but it happened. Okay, so there we go. There's the start of my stamping. I have 2 more stamps that I need to do. I need to do 2023 with that guy, and I need to do about last month. So I think what I will do, I think I'm going to use the Twisted Citron for about last month. So let's see how that one works, how it looks. And because I've done my little test stamp over here, I can just keep on stamping in that same area. So I'll get a feel for if I like the way that looks underneath there. Oh yes, I was worried that it might not quite be bright enough, but I think it's great. So that'll be a great green to use under there. We'll do that right there. We might have it. I think I'm actually gonna go a little bit right justified over here, and then I'll put a little candy corn or something right there. So let's get our Twisted Citron on there. Get that nice and inked up. And we'll come right over here with it. About last month. And then the last stamp that I'll do on there is 2023. And that will go to the right of the T in October, OCT. Got a little bit of that on my stamping block too. Okay, and then my 2023. Gotta bring this closer to me. If you are new to stamping, there are a couple things that you can do to help yourself have a more successful outcome. Number 1 thing, besides conditioning your stamp, is standing up when you stamp. I stand up at everything I do. Any kind of design work, I'm standing. I prefer to have a like bird's eye view. I think for me, it's a lot easier and I get a better feel for what I'm doing and to make things balanced. But definitely when you're stamping, stand up. You can stand up maybe in the kitchen where you have a taller counter. I work on a tall desk here in my studio or craft room or whatever you want to call it. But standing up gives you much more range of motion with your arms, and you get much more leverage when you're stamping. So if you're sitting down, look at your little arms. I always call them your little T-Rex arms when you're sitting down. Your little T-Rex arms when you're sitting down don't have a lot of range of motion. When you're standing, you have much more range of motion, so you have much more leverage when you are doing your stamp. Those are all things that, in my opinion, you should just play with. Like get a little piece of scratch paper and go to town. Just play, start stamping, figure out what works for you. The other thing is you always want to be stamping on a hard surface. Don't stamp on the bed, right? I mean, I know that sounds like funny because probably most people wouldn't stamp on the bed unless you couldn't get out of bed. Then you may be crafting on the bed. But even like a card table, if you go to a crop or something like that, and you're stamping on one of the folding tables that they have, don't do that. Get up, go to the bathroom, find a counter or something, or wait to stamp until you get home, because you need that resistance coming back at you. And if you're doing that on a card table or a folding table, you're not getting the resistance. The table is moving with you, and then you won't maybe like the way your stamp looks when you're done. Okay, there we go. Those are all just little things that I've learned along the way. It would have made my life so much easier. I would have loved stamping so much more. I should not say so much more because I love it, but earlier on, I would have grown to love stamping much earlier on in my crafting world, my crafting career, if I knew. If I knew any of those things, it would have made my life a lot easier. I wouldn't have been so frustrated when it came to stamping. All right, let's put those little guys back. You want to clean them off right away. Just get in the habit of cleaning them off right away and putting them back on your sheet right away. That way you don't lose them, right? You don't lose them and they're all clean and ready for you to use again. So there we go. Just did my little stamping on there. I like that I pulled the green in there, and actually that green kind of works nicely because there's some little green streamers there, some green grass there. So we've kind of pulled in a little bit of the green, and then of course that's what started the green, the little witch stockings. So maybe I'll do this. This is a little, let's see, that's a little bat die cut. Oh, I kind of like that there. Let's look at the stickers too before we really commit. Oopsie, my little spider's going for a little walk there. I think, so this bat is also cute, but this bat might be a little bit large. Is it? No, actually, I like that there. We'll just do that. And the bat is a little bit in our little month there, and that's okay. All right, so now it comes to making our list. Almost. Let's look. What if we have these little stars, these little yellow stars. What if we do maybe a little yellow star over in here somewhere? I know I want to put a word strip there. So I don't know, maybe a little yellow star can go there. I don't really love it there, but that's okay. All right. I think it's time to start doing our list. So when it comes to my About Last Month lists, they are always bulleted run-on lists. So what I mean by a bulleted run-on list, there are bullets separating the items on my run-on list. So I'm not doing like a vertical list like we saw here. Not a vertical list. So that would be a vertical list. This would be a run-on where I just continue writing and I'm just using a little bullet stamp to separate those. So let's go to our bullet stamps. There are 2 bullet stamps. There is a third in the works. It's almost done. Bullets and More 3 will be part of the November stamp release. So Bullets and More is the OG. This is super basic. It just has a couple of different types of numbers, so different fonts of numbers. It has a couple banners, and then it has like circles and hearts and little flower, squares, a couple of other little icons that you could use for bullets. That was the original Bullets and More. I'd say these 2 are by far my most popular stamp sets. It's the one that I almost kind of use on everything. This is Bullets and More 2, so 72 little stamps in there, and there's tons and tons and tons of stamps. There's 72, right? So look, there's a little pumpkin, there's a little bat. I could use either one of those for this month, but I think I'll use the little pumpkin because the bat, I would want to use black, and then the black would kind of blend in with my writing, so it'd be a little bit harder to see. So I have this little tiny stamp. Oopsie, I have this little tiny stamp. And even if I take my smallest, that's not my smallest, that's my second to smallest stamp block. Even if I put it on that, that's a lot of extra stamp block around the stamp. Any extra stamp block you have around the stamp is going to make it a little bit harder to always get even pressure. So I use this. This is a kind of necessity is the mother of invention tool that I came out with. It's called a stamping stylus. So it's an acrylic, about 6-inch round stamping block. 6 inches is important because your hand is very used to holding something like this. It's like a pen or pencil, right? So it's not foreign to your hand. Gives you plenty of room to hang on to. I take my little stamp and I put it on the end of that stamping block, and it's super easy to stamp. Here's a little tidbit. I just had manufactured version 2.0 of the stamping stylus that has now a smooth end. Lots of you guys have been asking for smooth end, like you have smooth end here. This is not smooth end, so sometimes you really have to press down to get your stamp to stick. Smooth end will make it a lot easier. Anyhow, those are coming. I think they're done. But I don't have them yet. You'll know when I have them. All right. So again, I want to test. I'll just pull this little guy out. I want to test before I do this, but this will show you how easy it is to do that little stamp. Look how easily I can do that. And it goes very quickly because I have not worried about making sure that I know where it is. I don't have to kind of reposition every time. What I do need to do, I can tell though, I need to clean it off just a little bit because there is a little part in there that it looks like, hang on. think that's just the design on the stamp. All right, so as I start my list, I need to have my, oh my gosh, we haven't even, where'd it go? Oh, my handy dandy notebook. Handy dandy notebook. This is what I use to do all of my planning for our Saturdays. I was looking at this the other day. Look at the very first one that I used it for. October 9th, 2021. So this is 2 years of all of our planning for Saturday listing. And that's what I use. There is a version on my website that would be pertinent to you. So it doesn't have the stuff like I need to track in there the prizes and who won the prizes and things like that. But that kind of stuff is not in there. But otherwise, there's a version of that available on my website. And that's the Listing with Layle workbook. All right, there we go. And now we write. It's a long time to be going before we write. So let's see. An extension to our San Diego trip after meeting Pink at the swimming pool. I told that story last month because it was in September when that happened, and then we went to the concert, and that was in October. Oh my heavens, she is like seriously the most down-to-earth person you could even imagine. And there's nothing like getting to know somebody when you're standing there in your swimsuit, right? All right, so my friend Sherry and I, so we were there with our husbands, Nick, and then Sherry's husband, Scott. Both Sherry and Scott were in our weddings. Sherry was my maid of honor, and Scott set us up. Nick and Scott were fraternity brothers, and Sherry and I were sorority sisters. So very dear friends of ours, but we were in San Diego. We had gone to see the Coldplay concert. That was part of my About last month, September. And then we met Pink at the swimming pool, and Sherry and I decided, you know what? I said, I'm the boss of me. She said, do you want to stay? Should we extend our trip? And I said, let's do it. I'm the boss of me. I can decide to do that. And so we sent the husbands home, and we stayed for 3 more days, and then we went and saw the Pink concert. So that was pretty fabulous. So that's the next thing. We saw Pink in concert. Holy cow. I can't even tell you. We saw Pink in concert. What an amazing artist and performer. I tell you what, if you ever have the opportunity to go see Pink in concert, go. And you know what? I wouldn't say that I was necessarily a Pink fan. I mean, I had nothing against her. I was surprised at how many songs I knew. I mean, I think we knew like probably 85-90% of her songs just because you hear them on the radio all the time. Holy cow, now I'm a fan. And she's just amazing. Absolutely 100% amazing. All right, so what else happened that month? Let's see. Oh, this is another big thing. My new Traveler's Notebooks, which I affectionately sometimes refer to as triplets, my new Traveler's Notebooks arrived, and I started shipping them. That was very exciting. October's been a good month. October's been a fun month. There's kind of lots of fun stuff that happened in the month of October, so that's good. But here's the thing. Sometimes maybe October's not a good month. Maybe there's things that happen in your world as you're doing an About last month, or maybe you decide, I don't want to do an About last month. Nothing good happened. I think it's still important to document it, right? Because it's still part of your story. Not everything's sunshine and rainbows, right? So, or butterflies and rainbows. I think it's good to document the good and the bad. And sometimes documenting the bad or the hard is very difficult. But if you're just doing it this way and you're just saying kind of what happened, it's a little bit easier to do that, right? So, for example, this month, one of Nick's old boss and one of his golf buddies passed away. That's a really hard thing, right? That's sad, but it's also part of what happened. So that's something that I will add to my list because it's something that was, significant and meaningful You know what I mean when I say meaningful. But that happened this month. So I don't get super personal about things that I put in here. Like well, I don't know. But I kind of talk about all the things. So, Frank, that was very sad. That was an unexpected thing. So it can be good, it can be bad, it can be happy, it can be sad. It's life, and yeah. Let me see. I'm just looking. Scrapped NH said, FYI, Layle, I just used my right persimmon on a roller stamp and it did the same thing. I used also another color and it was fine. It's a good quality Page Evans stamp. Also, it's the ink. So what's so weird about that, though, is the first couple times I stamped with it, right? Look at, I mean, that's the first time I stamped with it. It looked great. So, and then it looked great when I stamped on there too. So I'm not quite sure what happened. I'll have to continue to play around with it, maybe. It sounds like some of you have seen, and thank you too, Scrapped NH, for looking at that and kind of testing it out for us to see if it was just me. Wanda, Pink should watch you and see her picture on your list. Yeah. She was on 60 Minutes earlier this week too. So, but she's my BFF now, so she's probably watching. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's see. What else do I have on my list? Oh, yes, Nick. And Scott. I'll just call it a fishing weekend. So they went to a place in Idaho where you can fish. There you go. They went fishing. They went to a place in Idaho where you can fish, probably like a river. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I crack myself up. I had dinner at Market Street with Sherry and Kathy. So it's just, I mean, it's kind of, well, maybe I went to the dentist, or maybe I did this, or maybe I took my dad to the doctor, or maybe it just depends, right? It's just whatever goes on your list goes on your list. You get to decide, right? It's your list. Let's see, Sam came over for dinner. Sam's our younger son. And swapping back and forth between the stylus and my pen. Oh yes, so we taught at Lizzie's Halloween retreat. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to stop putting those little guys right there, because basically, if I continue that, there will be orange pumpkins all the way down her left leg, and I don't want that, so I will stop doing that. I might end up putting something there, because now that's going to look really funny. If I put that there, that will also look really funny. It'll be like, oh, Layle, what are you trying to cover up right there? What are you trying to cover up? Yeah, I'll figure something out. Yes, taught at my friend Lizzie's Halloween retreat. So I was in San Diego, and then home for a couple days, and then went back to San Diego to teach at that. That's where I was when we saw Coldplay and then the Pink concert. So we dressed up as the Pink ladies. That was a lot of fun. It's amazing what kind of costumes you can find on the Amazon. Creative Cindy. Yes, Reggie is Sam's cat. If you have been with me for the last couple of months, you know that we have a new kitty. He is a long-term boarder in the Concar household. It is Sam's cat. Sam does not live with us. Jessica. Hi, Jessica. I didn't even realize that was you. Jessica is my super amazingly talented friend. Some of you guys may know her. Her company is Kallyx Designs. Oh, that just kind of splashed out of my head for a minute. Yes, Kallyx Designs. She does amazing acrylics. Oh, and you know what? Okay, let me just pull this out. It should be right here. It should be right here. Hang on. Hold, please. Hold, please. Oh, yes. So One of the giveaways of today, remember, one of the giveaways today is the 2023 year in review project kit. So I had Jessica make something custom for the kit this year, and that was this. So that is a beautiful acrylic piece, that 2023 year in review. Hi, Jessica. I can't wait for my order. I ordered some Christmas things from her to use in my personal like December daily this year. Can't wait for that. But yes, check out Color Cast Designs. She's amazing, the coolest things you've ever seen. Okay, so now I'm all over the board. This is what happens. If you're new, you need to know about the squirrel, because that's what happens. I tend to squirrel. I get on a tangent. Tangents happen a lot. Yes, Reggie has his own Instagram account now. It is Sir Reginald the Third. THIRD, Sir Reginald the Third, and pretty much I post every day pictures of him because he is a hoot. He's the goofiest cat ever. But yes, so it's kind of fun having a cat back in our household. Let me see. I gotta back up for a minute and see what else I missed. Pamela, am I doing What's New Wednesday on the 1st? I am. There'll be a What's New Wednesday this week because I'll have the new 49 in Market, Moonlit Garden, Moonlit something, and some other things too. So yeah, I will. While I'm off track, I'll just continue to be off track for a minute. In December, I'm going to Andy Kim, Sugar Sugar Christmas Show. Colleen, I have no idea what that is. It is a great event because you never know what other performers will show up. I don't know what Andy Kim is. Colleen, enlighten me. Belinda said she is using listing to teach her students how to write outlines. Belinda, that is the coolest thing ever. I love that. That is so awesome. I would love to hear more about that. I really would love to hear more about that. Someone in the Facebook group earlier this week, well, actually she had posted a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to put this on for a sec. She had posted a couple of weeks ago. Now we're just chit-chatting. Like we're all girlfriends. We're all just sitting together in a big old room and we're chit-chatting. She had posted a couple of weeks ago. She was a teacher and she wanted to introduce her like 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, maybe? 8th, 9th, and 10th, I don't remember. A group of kids, male and female, to listing. Her school district had some funds that they were given for the teachers to do art. And so the teachers could decide what they wanted to do. And she decided to introduce her kids to listing. And she came into the Facebook group and kind of talked about this and said she was asking for different list topics that she might be good for kind of that age group. Oh my goodness, she just posted the other day and said it was amazing and the kids loved it so much. And what I loved so much about that, the kids had fun doing it, but look at what they were doing. They were like telling a little bit of their own history. They listed about, I'd have to go back and remember. I know one of the things that she said they listed about was their favorite, like the best and the worst Halloween candy. And she said they had so much fun with that. But really what that did, it was getting the kids to write. And I don't know about you guys. I will tell you, my kids, 26 and 23, our kids, they don't really write. They text. They certainly can't read any kind of cursive writing, right? So I think writing for the younger generations is a little bit of a lost art. So I loved that she took, it's kind of like putting, tricking your kids and putting vegetables in things that they like zucchini bread. It's sweet. They like it. They don't realize they're getting vegetables in it. So doing an activity like Belinda's doing, teaching her kids how to do outlines by listing, doing what this other teacher did, getting them to write and have fun writing by making it fun, by talking about your favorite Halloween candy or the best and the worst Halloween candy. I love that kind of tricking, because sometimes we got trick little kids, not little kids, but younger kids. We have to trick people into doing something that we know is good for them. We know that they'll like, but that they think they won't, right? Okay. Hi, Carla from Rainy, Arkansas. Honey, sugar, sugar. Okay, I know it. I know that now. All right, I won't sing it. Colleen, but I know what song that is. I know what song that is. So it sounds like Andy Kim is an award-winning Canadian performer. He wrote the song Sugar, Sugar that the Archies recorded. If you are of a certain age, you will probably remember the song. I totally remember the song. So thank you, Marilee, for now making me remember it by saying it, I think, that way. I will tell you guys something really cool about Colleen, because she told us one day a number of years ago. She saw the Beatles in concert, right? Isn't that right, Colleen? You saw the Beatles in concert and you still have a ticket? Was it the Beatles or Elvis or both? I just thought, I always remember about that. I remember that about you because I know that you just love music so much. So I love that. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done. And then we'll work on our next list. Just know, if you're new, this is just what happens. This is not produced in any way. All right, clearly it's not produced. And we go on tangents and we have fun and we chat. And I think that's what made it such an awesome place for me personally to be here during the pandemic, because I felt like I wasn't so removed from the world, right? Because we were all here together, even though it's just me talking to a screen. So sometimes we just chat about things and we have fun. Colleen said yes, she saw both the Beatles in concert and Elvis in concert, which I think is so cool. I just love that. That's so cool. All right, finishing my list. We dressed up as the Pink Ladies. All right, then I traveled to Wisconsin. Oh, Reggie's outside of my door meowing. What do you want, bud? You can't come in. You can't come in because you jump on the table. He can see me through the glass doors. He will jump right up here and he wants to be listening with us. Traveled to Wisconsin to teach at She Loves Color and had so much fun. Keynote speaker was an amazing speaker, Jessica Turner. I did not know who she was. I would probably be willing to say that most people there did not know who she was. She is not a crafter. It had nothing to do, her keynote had nothing to do with crafting. She's written a book called The Fringe Hours, F-R-I-N-G-E, The Fringe Hours. Talking about how you can find time for yourself to do the things that you want to do and that you need to do for yourself. Self-care, doing things like this that make you happy and fill your cup, but in the fringe hours. And it was just, sometimes you need to hear, sometimes you hear a message at the right time in your life and it like hits you over the head. That was her keynote to me. So that was amazing. Hi, Jessie. Yes, Jessie was there too. Jessie said she was amazing. Yes, I got to meet Jessie in person. Jessie and I have known-ish each other, like how I know you guys, right? Known each other for years, but we finally got to meet in person, so that was super fun too. We had our first snow earlier this week. Yikes. Not ready for it. Not ready at all for it. Not ready for winter. Not ready. Not ready. Winter is not my favorite. And I live in the wrong place for winter not being my favorite. We live in Utah. We live in northern Utah, so you kind of get what you get. Nick loves to ski, so we will probably always be in northern Utah. Okay, where are we? All right, so earlier this week, I shopped the American Crafts warehouse sale for Black Friday. Lots of fun things coming from me to you for Black Friday. Just you wait. Loads of fun things. Let's see. Tabitha said, how often does it snow in October in Utah? So I would say it's fairly common, Tabitha, to snow at the end of October, but it's like a skiff. So just a little bit. There is no snow on the ground right now. So we won't have snow on the ground for like permanently for the winter, probably until maybe late November. Then it will have it on the ground. Late November into December, then we'll have it on the ground for sure until March, maybe April. It just kind of depends. We live We're fairly high. We're kind of right up, we're on the bench, right up against the mountains, so we're a little bit higher. But it's not uncommon for it to do it in, late October. Not uncommon, but it doesn't stick. Jessica said, have a fabulous day, everyone. I'm headed out to the movies before we get our first snow. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, already snow. Virginia said it's still 23. So I need to quantify that. Virginia, I believe, lives in Spain. And when she says 23, she's talking Celsius, right? So Virginia, I don't know. I think that means it's still really hot there, right? I think so. Carmen said 84. Now Carmen's in Arizona. So yes, looks like she'll have a first warm Christmas. 83 in Virginia. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh yes, Suzanne Summers passed away. Yes, Paula. Unfortunately, she did pass away. I have that in the news for October when we do that one. So here's kind of something about that. When I originally started doing this type of list, I was putting news things and personal things on it. And I started to find, oh my gosh, there's too much to put on the list. I kept running out of room. So then I started separating them. All right. Then the very last thing, taught at the 3 Craft Chicks virtual Candy Cane Lane retreat. And my December documented class, because that happens tomorrow. So basically that then wraps up. Thank you, Colleen. 74. 23 equals 74. I know there's some little formula that you can do where you double it, subtract your weight, add your age 5 years ago, put your eyesight in there, and then that will tell you what Fahrenheit is to Celsius. I don't know what that is. But anyhow, okay, so there was one more thing I said I needed to do. There's this weird little white space there, right? So we're almost done. There's just this weird little white space there. So I feel like I need a little word strip sticker in there. I always say, what do I always say, guys? If it looks like something's missing, the answer is a word strip sticker. So it's going to totally change by just putting one little sticker there. So I am going to pull out my word strip stickers. This big old bin of word strip stickers. And I will probably go to just the small talk one. This has been used and used and used so much. These are my favorite. I love, love, love the Tim Holtz word strip sticker. So this one is just the one that's called small talk. I think there's 4 different ones I carry on the website. So I'm just going to look and see what might work. I know I don't have a ton of room in that little space, so we'll look for something that's a little bit smaller. Best day ever, that would work. Make today count could work. So these are all pretty generic, right? They're all pretty generic. Oh, there's lots on this one. Let's look. Don't forget to fly. Life is good. You are enough. Keep moving forward. I mean, keep moving forward totally works, right? Because it's going to be another month, so that would totally work. Maybe we'll do that one. Keep moving forward. Where did it go? Now I totally lost it. Keep moving forward. Oh, there it is. Keep moving forward. Let's see if that works. Okay, let's look and see. It looks like it might be around the width that I need, and actually it might be a little bit longer. Okay, so I think it might be, let's look. It's going to be a little bit too long, okay? It's going to be a little bit too long, so I want to move that. I'm going to find another one, and then we'll call it good. So let's see what we want that's smaller than keep moving forward. How about live your life? That works. Live your life works. I just need a little something. So watch how this transforms. Here we go without. And then when I put this down there, right? It just needed a little something in that space. Now I think what I need to do, because it's popping right off and it's not the sticker, it's because it has that that foil, the holographic foil on it. It does not want to stick because it's not really sticking to the holographic foil. So I want to use, I'm actually going to use just a little piece of this. So it'll be nice and secure. And then it will be done. Creative Cindy said, do you remember that? If you don't know what to do, you use the word strip. There we go, right? Right? Colleen said, being in Canada, I'm used to doing the temperature conversion for my American friends. Yes. Because, you know, in America, we only pay attention to what matters to us. We don't pay attention to what the rest of the world does when it comes to conversions or anything like that, right? Liters, gallons, we're doing inches. The whole rest of the world has moved on to other things, but we're still doing it our way, right? That's okay. That's okay. All right, so there we go. There is about last month for the month of October, okay? So let me do this. Let me pick up some of this mess because it will make it very difficult for us to keep working with all of this mess in here. We need to get Halloween out and move on to our next list. So I'm curious, are you guys doing about last month with me? Did you do it? If you did, how did it go? Did you do a Halloween theme? If not, what did you do? And if you're not doing it, that's okay too. You do whatever works for you, but I'd be curious to know what would you put on your list? Like, what was one thing that happened in the month of October for you that if you were doing it about last month, what would be on your list? I know, what about the pumpkin bullets next to the witch's leg? I know, because they're just kind of there, right? They're just kind of there. Maybe, what if we put maybe we can find a star to cover it up. I think maybe a little yellow star might work in that situation. Let's see. A strategically placed star. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't quite cover it up all the way, but you know what I can do? I can erase a little bit of it. I don't want that one. Where's my other one? That's not the one I want. If I take my little white pen and I am just going to, there's just a little bit of that you could see outside of the star. I'm just going to take my little white pen and try to block out a little bit of that orange. Now it's going to make like a peachy color. I just need that to dry. Once it dries, then I will put my little sticker on top of it. So that'll help to kind of disguise it a little bit. But I need to add another star somewhere else, because if I put a star here, it just looks kind of random. Like, whoa, why'd you put that there? So if I have a star here and a star here, if I kind of work with the visual triangle, so here, here, and maybe up here, then it won't be so obvious that this guy is just trying to cover something up. So let's grab one more star and we'll put it right over here. There, that needs a nice yellow star there. Now it won't be so obvious here. Did I cover up enough of it? Nah, not really. I need to put a little bit more white down below. And then I'll clean up and we'll move on. No use crying over us two misplaced stamped pumpkins. Okay, that'll help a little bit. It'll just camouflage it just a tad. Just trying to dry it. And there we go. Now it's not so obvious. All right, there we go. So star, star, star. You'll never even know. It's our secret. We're not going to tell anyone that we have two little pumpkins there. Thank you, Kathy, for the reminder. We're going to take a quick little hydration break. So if you have something to drink, take a quick sip because we've been working hard. We've been working hard. Let's see. Scrapped and Ate, she said she went to her first ever in-person event and met so many like-minded ladies. I love that. Anne said she did about last month. Her sister and her husband came up for a week. We toured an old state hospital. Very interesting. Pamela, if she's listening with us, is writing that she is doing her best to heal after some major surgeries, multiple. She said she's only allowed to put 50% weight on the right leg. She can't wait to be able to walk without a walker or crutches. Pamela, I can't wait for you. That sounds bad. I also cannot wait for you to be, I can't wait for you. You know what I meant. Joanne celebrated her 2 adult sons' birthdays along with granddaughter's first birthday. Oh, how fun. And grandson's 9th birthday. Sandy is listing today. She and her sister went to a fall festival hosted by a winery, garden, and craft store. Oh my goodness, like you put the best things together, a winery, a garden, and a craft store all together, I would never leave. She said it was 91 degrees, but they had fun. Scrapbook Sisters working on a list, things I'm looking forward to this fall. Melanie took a 2-week trip to Maryland and Pennsylvania, visiting her niece, going to Gettysburg. Oh, how fun. That sounds wonderful. Carla's going to be doing a list later. Her youngest son came home for a weekend visit. Isn't that wonderful when they do that? Let's see. Oh, look, Deborah, I just saw your thing that said maybe add a star at right top to create a visual triangle. Great minds think alike. Sarah saw Pink, Sting, Eddie Izzard, and Ray LaMontagne. Oh, October seems to have the best concerts. Okay, I know who Ray LaMontagne is. And obviously Pink and Sting. I don't know Eddie Izzard. But Sting is also amazing in concert. Yeah. Britta's son, hi Britta. Britta's son is coming home from university for reading week tomorrow, so that goes on our list. Good. All right, friends. Kelly used a fall theme for her list. Apple Farm with her family was the highlight for them for the month of October. Kathy saw Adele. Kathy, I'm jealous. She's on my bucket list. Put 4,800 miles on their car, relaxed in Palm Desert. So look at all of the different things. Pamela came home from her 3rd replacement hip surgery. Yeah, Pamela has had a rough go of things. Gracie's, it's her birthday month. So all different kinds of things, all different kinds of topics that you could include for your October or for your about last month in any type of month. Okay, let's move on. Let's get this Halloween stuff put away. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to add another giveaway. I'm going to add another giveaway. I just have to write it down or I'll forget. I am going to, assuming that you do not mind if you win, some partially used Halloween product. And when I say partially used, most of it is not used at all, right? I have almost a full 6x8 pad. I have tons of die cuts left because now that I've kind of done Halloween in my listing, I will not use this product anymore. So that will be a prize for someone. Is all my leftovers. And they're pretty good leftovers. I think they're pretty good leftovers. So there's loads of stuff. I'm just going to load it up in, oh yes, look at it. It's all of this stuff. There's a lot of stuff in here. The washi, the foam stickers. Yeah, there's loads of stuff in there. The 6x8 pad. So that will be a 4th giveaway. And if you are new or you are not familiar with how I do the giveaways, you leave a comment on the video when it's over. So not in the chat. You leave a comment on the video when it's over. Doesn't matter what you comment on. Just say something. And then when we're together again, right before we start, I will draw 3 random lucky winners, or in this case 4, because there'll be 4, since I just added that. 4 random lucky winners, and one of the random lucky winners will win that little guy, or not that little guy, a bag. I'll take all that stuff out of the container and put it in a bag, and win all those fun, happy Halloween goodies. All right, so our next list, we have 2 more lists that we'll be doing today. Our next list is, hang on. Put that on the floor. We'll keep this out because really quickly, your little icon stamps. Reggie is lying on his back with his arms and his legs in the air, and his head is looking at me through the glass like he so badly wants to come in. All right, clean off right away. Remember to put away your little bullet stamps, because that just reminded me too. This little guy I was working with a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot to put it away, and then I found it the other day. So I'll put that away now too. One quick thing about your little bullet stamps. If they stop sticking to either your stamp block, if you use a stylus to the stylus, or if they're stopped sticking to the backer sheet, that is because you have a little lint and or fuzz or hair or dust or whatever on the back of that stamp, okay? And if you have anything on the back of it, it will prevent it from sticking. So really easy to get that off. Just take a damp cloth, like if you use a little chamois or something, just take a damp cloth and Wipe off the back. So sometime clean the back, even though you usually always clean the front, also get in the habit of cleaning the back. And then that will help your stamps stick if they start to get to the point where they won't stick to the stamp block anymore. You did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with the stamps. It's just, whoopsie, it is just that they get a little dusty and won't stick. All right, there we go. Get those little guys put away. Our next list, did I just lose one? Our next list is, okay, so I have a friend. Yes, I have a friend. Her name is Susan Opal. Some of you may know Susan. She's been around in the kind of crafting community for many years. But I've known her for many years. She currently works for, I think she's the editor for Scrapbook and Cards magazine. She lives in Utah, but she posts on Facebook frequently, and I saw something that she posted the other day. And it was a, like, list these 3 things. And so she gave, one of them was things I avoid. Creative Cindy said she knows her. Yeah, she's a wonderful person. Pamela said it's the dead cockroach pose. Yes, Reggie is the dead cockroach pose right now. It's very funny. Anyhow, she's a wonderful person, super talented. But so one of the things that she had posted on there was asking people to say, what is something that they avoid? And I thought, ooh, you know what? I like that. I think that would be a great list topic. So that's our next list. Things that you avoid. And you decide what that means to you. Let's see. Kelly said, what is the size of the plastic container used to store your Halloween collection? Kelly, I store all of my collections in those. They are linked in the description box of the video. So I think it's under like how I organize things or something like that. That is 8.5 by 11. So the container itself is bigger than 8.5 by 11, but it fits 8.5 by 11 things. So, and I have probably 20 or 30 of these, and they just line up on my shelf. And then I, as I stop working with the collection, I take the things out and then put a new one in or what have you. But yeah, that's what those are. I just get them on Amazon. Hi, Mom. My Halloweeny mom. You know what's so sad sometimes? Sometimes I only talk to my mom this way, like on YouTube while I'm streaming. It just, sometimes things get crazy. So hi, Mom. How are you? Deborah said, when I got stuck lying on the floor when I was pregnant, my husband said I looked like a dead roach. Oh my gosh. He was probably not your favorite person when he told you that, right? Probably not your favorite person when he told you that. That's hilarious. Okay. Mom is good. Mom is good. Julie, I love that. Julie is a great one. I am adding that to my list. I'm adding it. Julie said, going back to things that you avoid, cigarette smoke and vaping areas, like cigarette smoking areas. That's totally going on my list. Like, if you're at the mall or something, I don't know, you're at a restaurant and you walk outside and then it seems like they put the ashtray, nothing against people that smoke, but they put the ashtray like literally right outside the door and you have to walk through the smoke in order to leave. Yes, I try to avoid those areas. Cigarette, I don't know. I'm going to figure out how to word that. I'm sure you guys are going to give me lots of ideas of things to add to my list. Now, Nick, being the comedian that he is, because always a comedian, that Nick of mine, when we were talking about this list, he said, oh, I know what the first one is on your list. And I said, what? And he said, laundry. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. No. I mean, laundry's not my favorite thing, but I don't know if I avoid it, maybe. But I'm like, yeah, no, Nick, that's not on my list. No. Okay, so things that we avoid or things that you avoid. All right, so what are things that you avoid? Sarah says she avoids large flying insects. Those freak her out. And then my mom said, Mom is good. I mean, I don't avoid Mom. I'm responding to, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, avoid flying insects for sure. For sure. Okay, so this I think is a single page list. I think it's going to be a single page list. So I have a couple of places that I can put a single page list because like this one was a single page list. So I have right here. My mom said, you are not allowed to avoid Mom. Yes, I'm not avoiding you. Nancy said toxic people. Nancy, toxic people is on my list of things that I avoid. 100% avoid toxic people. I am right there with you. Like, life's hard enough. Who needs to add toxic people to your life? I do not. Most of us do not. All right. So what I thought I'd do, I haven't used this collection. Yo Mama Dog 365, Evelyn, right? Evelyn, did I get it? Evelyn. Evelyn avoids donuts. Oh, well, I guess I avoid donuts, but I really like donuts, but I avoid donuts. Oh, Carolyn. Oh my gosh, Carolyn. So I'm so confused. Were you on the thing on Wednesday? And I'm wondering if there's two of you that I keep missing up. I don't know. I thought I had it for sure. Julie said I avoid swimming anywhere there might be sharks, right? Like the ocean. It was you. So how do I keep doing that? I'm like, yes, it's Evelyn. No, Carolyn. Oh, well, anyhow. Just know that I know you. So you know that anytime I see you, you always pop into my head. I mean, I see you here. I've never seen you, I don't think. Maybe I have. All right, I'm going to use the What's Cooking collection. So here's the deal. What's Cooking collection from Simple Stories. I haven't used before. It kind of has a cooking theme to it, right? So I haven't used it, but every time I see this piece of paper, I'm like, I have to use that because I love it so much. So I'm not using any part of this that has anything to do with cooking. I am using, look at the beautiful patterns that have nothing to do with cooking, but where is it? Like that piece of paper, I see that and I'm like, that is the most beautiful thing ever. So I know I want to use that. And now I might be changing my mind. I might have to do a 2-page list. Although, I don't know. Maybe I'll make it work. I think we can make it work. All right, so we're using that. That is probably all that I am using out of this collection, honestly, because like I said, it really has a cooking theme to it. So I think that is well, we'll just leave it out just in case, but I think that's probably all I'm using. So we'll just set that over to the side. So I need to trim this down because it's too wide, right? The height is perfect, but it is too wide. So I'm going to trim it to 4 3/4. Pretty much if I'm using a background paper like I did there, it's always getting trimmed to 4 3/4. Oh, Elise, that is so perfect. The people at the mall who jump out at you trying to sell skincare, right? Right? You know, those people that, and they're just doing their job, right? They're just doing their job, but they're like, hey. And you're like, oh, no, I'm good, thanks. I know, I'm right there with you. I like look the other way. I'm like, I'm not interested in what you're selling. I'm sure it's amazing, but no, I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thank you. Creative Cindy knows me well, doesn't she? She said, cooking. Guess what, Creative Cindy? That is the #1 thing on my list that I avoid, cooking. Yep, cooking. I avoid cooking. Some of you know that about me. Nick does all the cooking in our house. I've never cooked, ever. I don't know, I just never have. All right, so some of you are like shuddering right now. Like you're having this is making me super uncomfortable. The thing that is making you super uncomfortable is this, that these two do not match at all. And they don't have to, right? They're just lists. It's just a list. They're two totally separate lists. They don't have to go together. So I am totally okay with doing that. I'm totally okay with that. If you're not okay with doing that, guess what? Do another list here that has something to do with fall, because that kind of has fall. Or if you don't want to do another list that has to do with fall, put up just fall paper there, okay? So then you kind of, everything goes together. I know from my 12 by 12 scrapbooking days that many people do not like single page layouts. You like to open your book and you like to have double pages because they coordinate with each other. So this does not bother me, so I am going to do this, but I acknowledge that I know it will bother some of you. And that's okay, right? Because I'm doing me and you do you. Telemarketer, solicitors. You guys have so many good ones. So many good ones. Telemarketer is a for sure one. And solicitor. I will tell you another one. Nobody get offended. Missionaries. Okay, so that may sound like a very odd thing to be on my list, missionaries. I live in Utah. The Mormon Church has a missionary program where young adults get sent all over the world and they want to talk to you about their religion. And when you've lived in Utah since 4th grade, you've pretty much figured you know everything about that religion that you want to know about it. Nothing wrong with the religion, but anytime I see missionaries and they start coming towards me, I avoid them because they're nice kids and I have total respect for what they're doing. They're basically cold calling. And I just steer clear and avoid them. So that will go on my list too. Creative Cindy said, Utah says it all. Yes. But I've always thought, Utah would be a very hard place to be sent if you were a missionary, I would think, because people here, you're either of that religion or you're not. So I can't imagine you'd have a lot of success here. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe. I don't know. Just thoughts for a Saturday afternoon. Again, nothing against the religion. And I think the kids that are on missions that do that, the life skills that they're learning to take rejection. I mean, they don't always get rejected, but they're learning sales, because really, that's what it is. They're selling. I mean, they're not, you don't have to pay money for anything, but they're learning some great skills, some great life skills. Oh, I don't know if I was quite ready for that yet. I'm not ready for that yet. So I just put my adhesive on. I was talking and not thinking. So there's something I want to try here. I am going to try something I do every once in a while. I need a piece of cardstock, white cardstock. So there are lines on this paper. I could very easily write my list in between those lines, but I don't think I'll like that for me. So I want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take out a piece of white cardstock. This is when we play, right? We just play. Christy said she does not like solicitors of any kind that knock on my door. Christy, I'm trying to look at your little picture. I think that's you. We met in Wisconsin, right? Is that you? I think that's your little face. I swear your name's Christy. Sometimes I mix up people's names though. And I can't see enough of your face in your little tiny picture there. So tell me. Adele says she avoids negative people, right? Sarah, you guys, sometimes if you don't know me, just know that, well, I've been teaching a lot. I spoke for hours on Thursday night, hours and hours and hours yesterday, and now today. And a lot of times just what comes into my head just comes right out my mouth. So when I say they're learning rejection, Sarah said, Layle, I love that was the first thing you said. But you know what? Think about it. Like the Hare Krishna people, a lot of times people don't want to hear what you have to say. So you learn rejection, and that's an important skill to learn in life, right? Because we all get rejected one thing or another. Belinda avoided hitting a turtle today. I love that. Yes, Christy. Okay, good. Yeah, so it's so fun to meet you, Christy, in person. Again, right? Because I think we met years ago. Did Scenic Route maybe years ago? Melanie said, we have the skincare people on the nice tourist street jumping at you. I think they would do better not doing that. The nice tourist street. Okay, I don't know. Deborah said, Twitter, politics on social media, gossips. Oh, Mom. My mom said, I avoid being rejected. Well, yes, as we're talking about rejection. Mom, are you trying to make a joke? I mean, we all probably avoid being rejected. Nobody wants to be rejected, right? Nobody wants to be rejected. All right. What I'm doing here is I think on my little list here, I want to put it here. But if I put it here, I'm going to lose all the beautiful flower. And that's why I wanted to use this paper. I do this every once in a while. I am going to get an X-Acto knife and make a little cut there so that I can tuck my paper into that. Now, a lot of things that we do, even if you don't like to make lists, a lot of things that we do can translate into scrapbooking. Into like a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. So you could take the same idea, because I'm willing to bet there's a 12 by 12 paper that looks just like this. And if you loved all the beautiful flowers there and you didn't want to cover them up, you could kind of do the same thing. So I just pulled out a little self-healing cutting mat. This will tell you how long I've been scrapbooking. Well, first of all, look at how filthy it is, because it's well used and loved. But look at the brand on there. You guys remember Making Memories, right? Long time ago. All right, so there we go. I am pulling out my little retractable like X-Acto knife cutting blade? My mom said, haha, yes, but actually I don't like being rejected. Yeah, that was funny, Mom. Karen said, I avoid going outside during the winter snowstorms like today for me, overslept. Hi, Karen, nice to see you. Carla, great minds think alike. She said, I was just getting ready to say fussy cut around flowers and make a pocket. Exactly. All right, so I think I will start probably maybe about right over here. So I am just following kind of the outline of these flowers and the little leaves. If you are doing something like this, make sure that you use a self-healing cutting mat. Okay, self-healing cutting mat means something that you can cut into and it will not, oh, that's, okay, I wanted to, it won't go shorter. Okay, and it will not like hurt your work surface. So if you're doing this in the kitchen, don't do this on your kitchen counter, okay? You will not like the outcome when you're done. You might like the list, but you won't like the outcome on the kitchen counter. So if you don't have a self-healing cutting mat, use a piece of cardboard. Like you could do the same thing with like a sturdy piece of cardboard. Take a box. Like if you shop from Amazon, just take part of the Amazon box or something like that, and wherever you shop from. You could do this on an old magazine. Okay, so open up the pages of like an old magazine, and then that would be your, that could be your self-healing cutting mat. It obviously would not self-heal, but it would, you know, it's not going to hurt your work surface. So, and you want to press pretty hard, right? Because you want to make sure you cut through that paper. So I am just continuing to kind of work my way around that beautiful flower, or bunch of flowers, I guess. The beautiful bunch of flowers. What are you guys doing today? So I know we've had some people out there doing movies. They're probably, I would imagine some of you, maybe Halloween party tonight with Halloween getting so close. If you're doing Halloween party, what are you dressed up as? I'm curious. Christy said, Allie Edwards cuts right on her craft desk and it makes me nervous every time I watch her videos. So I think Christy, she's got like a super sturdy, like wood desk, and it's beautifully marked. When I say beautifully marked, I mean, it is well used and loved. And she paints on it. And I think, you know, like you said, does this on it. So that's like her art desk, right? So it's not like her nice fancy desk, but it's her art desk, right? But yes, that would make me a little nervous too. All right, so let's see how we're doing here. You'll notice I did not go all the way to the edge because I will be tucking the white cardstock into here. Okay, so I'll be tucking the white cardstock in. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. This is kind of like fussy cutting, except I kind of can't fussy cut it because I need to keep the edges attached, right? But it's kind of like fussy cutting. Oh, this one needs to kind of come down here, I think. And then we'll just have it shoot over here. Kind of like fussy cutting. I enjoy fussy cutting. I know not everyone does. So this takes a little bit of time, right? You can decide how long that you take to make your lists. For me, I'm crafting. I really don't care how long it takes because I have fun, right? So I don't have preconceived notions or ideas in my head that a list should take 10 minutes or a list should take 3 hours. Doesn't really matter, right? If I'm having fun and I'm playing and I'm experimenting and we're chatting and being social, then yeah, I'm all for it. Especially for me, this is total creative therapy for me. When your business is your hobby, right? My business is my hobby. That can make things difficult. That means that I don't often get to do my hobby as a hobby. Saturdays is when I do my hobby as a hobby and it's not work. So this is when I just like literally play, and other than having topics and maybe an idea of what product I want to use, no preconceptions of what I want to do or how long I'm going to take. It's purely creative playtime for me. So if I get one thing done in 8 hours or I get 20 things done in 8 hours, doesn't really matter because it's good creative therapy. And when I say therapy, it's therapy sometimes, right? All right, so there we go. Now I should be able to take my white cardstock and tuck it in there. So let's work on that next. I think I probably want that to be, I don't know, maybe 4 inches. Let's try with 4 inches and see. And maybe 4 by 7. So we kind of have to wing this here a little bit and see if that is about right. So 7, let's try 4. 4 might be a little bit wide. We'll see. We'll learn soon enough. Okay. So if I take this in here, it's so funny when I see a piece of paper like this, this is what I instantly think. I instantly think, oh, I know how I'm going to use that. Okay, so what I need to do is I just a little bit, well, actually, it's probably good. I'm just going to come in here and do a little tiny bit more over there because it seems like it's not quite even to me. So I want to be able to come to the right a little bit more. So I just need to open that up a bit and then I should be able to come right over. Like that. All right, so there we go. That ended up being 4 by 7. Now, that's pretty stark white. So I need to do something to that paper. I'm going to ink the edges. And I am going to find, where'd my colors go? Let's see, I'm thinking maybe spun sugar. Let's look, spun sugar. I think it's it, spun sugar. I'm going to ink the edges with spun sugar. So, spun sugar is right here. And I need this. And I need this. Okay, so I pulled out spun sugar. I am also pulling out my little ink blending base, the little handle. And I'm going to my little storage container for all of my colored blenders. I said, oh, Layle, where is spun sugar? That's a very good reminder to why you put your things away after you've used them. And I will not make you wait for me to find what I've done with spun sugar. I will just make a new spun sugar. Oh, that's not a rounded one. I want a rounded one. There we go. That will be the new spun sugar. I have no idea. Open that up and spun sugar is missing. All right. So this is a little domed ink blending foam. It is domed, so I won't kind of necessarily have sharp edges. I put that on there. Now it's stuck on there because of the Velcro. And I need to, oopsie, ink this up. So I have a different little foam top for every color that I have. It's important that you do not blend colors unless you want to blend it forever. So if you want to mix a spun sugar and a kitsch flamingo, you put it on here, that is now forever going to be a blend of those two colors because the oxides are going to blend together. All right, so that's why I have a little one for each color. Oopsie. All right. So I'm gonna pull this back out and I want to just ink the edges. So I'm just taking my little blender there and softening those edges a bit and bringing in a little bit of color. Just want to soften those because right now they're pretty harsh. Well, it's pretty harsh because it's stark white. So that will help kind of soften that when I put it in there again, that little kind of pocket I created, that will help to soften it and then bring in a little color. I'd like to use, well, actually I wouldn't use a mint. I was going to say I'd like to use a mint, but there isn't a mint, but I wouldn't use a mint because you would totally lose it. You wouldn't even see the mint because it would blend in too much with the background. But I could use a darker, I could use, if I wanted to kind of go with a darker, I could use cracked pistachio, and it would be maybe like the color of one of those vertical or horizontal lines if I didn't want to do a pink. But that's a really easy way of just inking edges. It almost looks like I matted it on pink cardstock when all is said and done. Okay, so there we go. And I will put this guy away. Back, gotta put it back right away. Do as I say, not as I do. Put it back right away. Now this is where I get a little weird. I don't like little inky fingers. So then I take my little tweezers and just kind of pry that off. Because oxides, that little ink pad is going to be wet. It's going to have ink on it for quite a while. Like if I touch like that one, look it still has the ink on it. So because they're, you know, in their little container, it's not really going to ever dry. It's always going to be on that little pad. Let's see, Creative Cindy said Making Memory was the company for eyelets and brads. I know, right? Carolyn, Yo Mama Dog 365, made a copycat Wendy's chili and chicken and rice soup for cold weather next week. Oh, I love that. That sounds so fun. Wanda's son came over today. He's watching football. He's watching football and she's watching me. That sounds like the perfect thing. Tracy's Treasures had young grandsons for a sleepover tonight, watching in between playing with them. That is so fun. Christy's going to put pictures today. Print pictures today to put in her projects from She Loves Color. Oh, good. You're right on it. You are right on it. Okay. All right. So now here we go. Let's take that little piece and we'll slide it in here again. And look at how much that just softens that, doesn't it? It just kind of softens that up. It's amazing what just a little bit of ink will do. So like, look at, if I had that there, super stark, but we ink the edges and it just kind of softens everything up a bit. All right, so here we go. That will go right there. I need to put some adhesive on here. Ooh, the fact that I've already put adhesive on the back is making things a little bit challenging. A little bit challenging. All right, let's try to do this without sliding it again, sliding it in again. Getting it where I want it to be, which I think is about right there. It's a little bit crooked, so let's just keep getting it right where it should be. All right, that's good. Now, I do need to come in and put that away. I really should come in and add a little bit of adhesive under here, right? Because I don't want those things to end up kind of flipping up. So I'm just using a little glue pen. Glue pen's your friend when you're working with die cuts or something like this. That is the easiest way to get your adhesive onto small pieces. If I was trying to do that with my tape runner, well, it would be impossible. It'd be impossible for me to get it. Well, I shouldn't say impossible, because if I had to, I'm sure I could figure it out. But all right, there we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this down. There's something I want to just mention really quick that I did not mention when I was stamping here. When you are stamping on a new page, so in this case, this is a new spread. When you're stamping on the left side, before you, oh, I got it, Colleen, thank you. It's my angel time, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're always so good about bringing that up. I love it. When you're stamping on a left page, always, 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 before you start stamping, look to see what you had done on the page before. I knew I was okay here because I knew that I had, this list was on pattern paper that I then put down. If I had not done that on this list, let's say this list was directly on the insert itself, like if I'm here and I'm doing the list directly on the insert, if this one was directly on the insert itself and this one I had stamped on, I wouldn't want to do that because I'm going to have shadowing or ghosting depending on what stamp I'm using and the color. In this case, that orange was going to be really dark and there's a little bit of surface area there. So if this page did not have pattern paper on it, I would be sad because I would have now affected my list that I did on there. I would see that orange come through. So anytime you're stamping, I wanted to mention that when we were back there and forgot. Just make sure before you stamp, always check to see what happened first. All right, this little guy I am now going to put in. Okay, I'm going to put in here because it's going to make it much easier for me to work in because I already put the adhesive on the back. It'll be much easier that way. All right, love that paper. It's so pretty. All right, I'm using a stamp set. I'm using Reggie Alpha. Reggie Alpha is named after Reggie. Reggie Alpha, that stamp set had its name long before Reggie came to live with us, long before we knew Reggie was coming to live with us. So now it has even more meaning because he lives with us. So I'm going to use Reggie Alpha to stamp the word avoid. Okay, I'm going to stamp the word avoid, and then above that I will write things I. So I'll have things I, and then I'll have avoid. If I wanted to, now I wouldn't do this now because, well, let me look really quick. Let me look for this stamp set. All the things. Things I. Is there a things I? Oh, yeah, there is. I guess I could, right? Maybe I could. Look at all the things stamp set that we generally use when it comes to things that you're looking forward to, your favorite things about something. So all the things is a combination of prompts in very basic font and then my handwriting. But I remembered there's a little stamp here that says things I. So I do not have a stamp here that says avoid, but I could use things I and then I'll spell out avoid here. So I'm gonna do that. And avoid, I will have be all lowercase because that's the way I like it. I am going to stamp these letters individually. I'm going to stamp individually because, hang on. A-V-O-I-D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, my I is a little bit thinner. I'm just trying to see about where I need to go. So I need to figure out the center of that white space so I know where to kind of start my stamps. This is my little zero centering ruler. I always forget to use this, but I showed it last night, so it's on my mind. So if I want to know what the center of that piece is, all I have to do with my zero centering ruler is match up the numbers along the bottom on the left and the right side. So 0's there, 2 is there, 2 is there. So I match up, and I think I made this. I did. It's 4, so that was an easy one, right? That was an easy one. Ooh. I forgot that I had made that 4. So that is my center right there. As I do avoid, because I'm not using all of these on the same stamping block, I don't like to do that. I don't like to put all the stamps on the same stamping block because I can't get them as close as I want them. Each of the stamps, and this is the case with any stamp, you're going to have a little extra material around it that is going to make it so that maybe you can't get the stamps as tight next to each other as you want. So that's why I like to do them separately. I'm going to do myself a favor this time and with a pencil draw a little line so I can line them up. That'll make life much easier, right? That will make life much easier for me. Then I can come back in and erase it later. So if I do it about right here, there we go. Because I kind of can't line them up on anything because I'm using them individually. So A-V-O-I-D, that's 5. So if I go maybe about halfway through the O, so if I put the O in the center-ish and then went on either side of that, A-V, let's just look. Let's just look how this will work. A-V-O-I-D, A-B-C-D. No, that's, hold on. No, that's the D, but it's looking weird to me. So just know that's okay. That's okay. And then there's my A, avoid. All right, I think that's pretty good. So if I go with the O right about in the center-ish, I will be okay. So I'm going to start with the O because that I know that's kind of in the center, and then I can build left to right from there. All right, do we want to use the same spun sugar? Maybe. Let's see. Might as well just use that little scratch piece I have out there now. Oh, don't pick up my little stamps. I think so. I think that will work. So clearly, when it comes to things I avoid, there's probably not a lot of positive things on there. Like, I don't say that I avoid getting together with my friends and having fun, because that's a good thing. You don't want to avoid that. So I tried to be a little bit more neutral when it came to the product I'm using, because avoid can be kind of a negative subject, right? Oops, get that off. I can't see. So we're kind of going soft. We're not going with black and AV. Okay, that's good. Going a little bit softer colors when it comes to avoiding. AVO, and then it helps to have it written out, because now you're spelling backwards and forwards, and spelling backwards and forwards can be a challenge sometimes, right? Spelling period can be a challenge sometimes. AVOID. Okay. I could have just as easily used letter stickers, but I'm going to stamp, because that way I can pick the exact color that I want. Now, we're going to use some letter stickers in our next list. As I look to the side, there probably is an exact color that's sitting right on top that would have worked for this, but that's okay. AV. Okay. Yes. So some of you are like, oh my gosh, stamping. I don't like stamping. It takes too long. Look at how long you could have had your whole list done by now, and you're still working on the title. And I say, well, yes. However, I never run out of a letter, because I can always create my own letter with a stamp. And I also am never looking for the exact color, because I always have the exact color that I want, assuming I have the ink. So there's plus and minuses, right? There's pros and cons. There are pros and cons to stamps. There's pros and cons to letter stickers. Stamps definitely an investment, but over time, assuming that you use them, cost way less than stickers, alpha stickers. It just depends on what you like. And I like both, so I use both. Avoid. All right, avoid. Things I avoid. Things I try to avoid. Things I like to avoid. All right, so now I'll just do the little things I stamp. I could, if I wanted, just write above that things I avoid. I mean, not avoid. I'd write things I above that, but I'm going to stamp it. Oh, all the things. No, Will. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow, Pamela, and you're probably already gone. Lori's listening and cleaning out cupboards and all things. We camp every weekend all summer. It's my first weekend home and putting everything away that was in the camper. Oh, the camping part in the camper is so much fun, but the putting all the things away after, oh, not so much fun, right? Not so much fun. Definitely not. I don't like that part. In fact, Nick was just had Harvey here winterizing, not dewinterizing, winterizing, and bringing in all the stuff. Like, there's stuff that can stay in throughout the summer, but then everything needs to get out right now. All right, so little tiny stamp. I am going to pick it up with my stamping block. That way it's not getting, the shape of it is not getting all like weird. Sometimes if you have a smaller stamp, it will bend a little bit when you try to pick it up, and then it's not straight on your stamping block. So I think I will do this in black, because my list will be in black. So we'll do things I. Okay, and that will just nest very nicely to the left of the dot on the I. Carla, I love it. Wait, you're supposed to use them? Thought we were keeping them in pristine condition, referring to the stamps. Yes, of course. That's the kind of thing, right, in life. This is something that my mom, well, probably more her mom, that we learned through her mom. use the things. Use the things. When my mom's mom, my grandma, passed away, she grew up or lived part of her life in the Depression, and a lot of people that kind of lived through the Depression were kind of conditioned to not to always save money, always save the things. My grandmother had many like deodorants and many bottles of Jean Nate and many things, because she was always worried that if something like the Depression happened again, she wouldn't have things that she needed. So when she passed away, there were a lot of things. Use the things. Use the things. It's going to do you no good if the things that you buy sit in a package, whether it's the clothes, if you're waiting for that outfit for the perfect day, or you buy a beautiful new lipstick and the color looks great on you, but you never use it because you're saving it for a special occasion. Well, one day the lipstick is either going to be bad or you're no longer around. So use the lipstick, use the stamp, use the things, wear the clothes, eat the good food, do all the things, okay? Because life's too short. Carla, use the stamps. No, just kidding. I mean, but seriously, use the stamps. Use it. Use the things. I will tell you. Okay, well, it got a little bit too close to things avoid, but that's okay. It's all right. It's totally fine. I needed to pull that closer to myself in order to see it, but I didn't. What was I just going to say? Carl, oh, no, Joe 1581 said, oh, that's me. I'm trying to do better to use the things more, right? Use the things. Hi, Dreamy Ray. Dreamy Ray said, when my great-grandfather passed, cleaning his house, found a bunch of Christmas presents still in boxes, so that people had given him still in boxes. Yeah, we have to use the things. Sometimes life's short. We don't know, right? We take for granted that we're going to be around. We don't know. So years and years ago, before kind of this was my whole career, business, what have you, I would buy a lot of scrapbook paper, a lot. And I'd be worried that I'd want more than one sheet. And then I'd be worried, well, what if one day I can't find it? So sometimes I'd buy like 5 and 10 pieces of the same paper, which if you don't use it, and then too many years go by and you're going through it all because you have so much, and you look at it and you're like, this is hideous. Why did I ever buy this? And oh my gosh, why did I ever buy this 10 pieces? When I bought it, I liked it. To me, it was beautiful. It wasn't hideous. You know, times change, right? But I would end up getting rid of all that. Now, I wouldn't throw it away. I would always donate it, but I should have used it when I bought it because I loved it then. Don't let things wait until you no longer are interested in them, because then that's a waste of money, right? Then that's a waste of money. So use the things. Use the things. If you buy them, use them. All right, things I avoid. That just looks funny, but that's okay. It is what it is. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and erase that title. I can't believe we're still on our second list. Wow, I've been chit-chatting a lot today. The About Last Month list, that usually always takes a little while just because it's a little bit more involved. All right, I'm going to underline this, but I wanted to erase the extra. I'm going to erase the extra. I'm going to use this one. No, I better use this one. Erase the extra line. Okay, things I avoid. Now I also have to do this. Because you know I have to do that. That's my thing. Now, if you like to use colored ink in your listing, then you may do your list in a colored ink that's a little bit softer. I know me, and I know that even if I think I will like it, I do it, I don't like it. So I pretty much just always use black ink. All right, so I'm going to remember right now, or I will forget, that I want to date this. So I'm just gonna write a little date kind of along the little curve of that flower right there. So this would be October, and I'll just write 2023. I don't need to necessarily say what day it was, but October 2023, so it is dated. Now I need something super kind of generic and neutral for my bullets. Instead of pulling out bullet stamp, I'm going to try Let's see if one of these will work. These are dot markers. This is a mild smoky set. So a mild smoky set I have on the website. I didn't add them to the things I was using because I didn't even think about these until just now. So dot marker is a pretty cool thing. I don't know, let's see if this one will work. This one is called Pale Moss. Let's see if Pale Moss is the color that I need. But what a dot marker does, kind of like if you've ever played bingo with the bingo daubers, like the big giant thing that you know, B12, and you'd go, and then it would make a mark on B12. A dot marker is kind of similar. The more pressure I apply, the wider the dot gets. So if I apply just a little bit of pressure, there's a little dot. I can change the circumference, diameter, of those dots based on the way that I am applying my pressure. Okay, so I can use those as my little bullets in between things. And you know what? I think I like that. That's a really soft color, this mild smoky set. Everything in that set has a really kind of soft, like pastel-y, but it's not like a bright, springy pastel. A little bit more sedated. So I think I will use that as my little dots here. So things that I avoid. I'm going to move over to this guy. Things that I avoid. Cooking. Cooking. I avoid cooking. I don't cook. I am not good at it. I don't cook. Nick is good at it and he likes to cook. I do not like to cook. So that works in our house. I avoid cooking. That was first on my list. Toxic people. I very much try to avoid toxic people. You know, it's interesting. Kind of in life, sometimes the older that we get, the more we come to the realization that we don't have to have everyone in our life, right? If people are toxic and they're bringing us down, we can slowly exit, right? We can kind of slowly exit from that relationship. Now, if you have family members that are toxic, it may be a little bit harder to extricate yourself from that relationship, but you can kind of back away maybe a little bit and choose not to spend as much time with those toxic people. You may not be able to remove them 100% from your life, but you maybe can control how much time you spend with them. Cindy avoids buffets. I love it. She avoids buffets for multiple reasons. Oh, I love that. That's so good. Yes, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Virginia said, back to our topic before, it happened to her in the past. She would say the things I liked the most for a special occasion, a project, or a photo. And now some of those things you don't like anymore, right? Or you lose the meaning of them. You don't remember why you saved them. Maybe there was a special photo and you don't remember enough about that event and now you don't know what to say about it. Yeah, use it, use it, use it. Let's see. Debbie said, I love my black zig with the dot on one end. Yeah, I also have a black version of that. It's just one pen, but it's got the little kind of dot marker. So they're kind of fun. Kathy said, love how we're using the dot markers, but them a long time ago during COVID, sometimes I buy all the things you show and love them, but can't possibly use everything I have. Here's the other thing, you guys. As much as my business is a business and it, you know, helps to support me and my family, I don't want you guys buying things that you aren't going to use, right? I mean, believe me, and if Nick were here, he'd be looking at me like he would say, he liked to say this, hello, pot, like pot calling the kettle black. He'll say, hello, pot, because I am the queen of buying things that I don't use. Let's go look at my closet. It's one of my toxic traits. So this is a do as I say, not as I do, as I try to learn to do better. But I want you to use what you buy. And if you are buying just to buy, I mean, don't get me wrong. I get a lot of pleasure out of buying, but it's important that we use, right? So I don't want you buying things if you're not going to use them. Dawn avoids really loud places. Right? Sometimes it's just too much. Sometimes it is absolutely just too much. Okay. Cooking, toxic people. I avoid driving in the snow. I do not like to drive in the snow. So as Nick and I were talking about that this morning, because this is what we do. We get up, we have coffee, and then he's like, so what are your lists today? And I said, driving in the snow. He's like, really? You don't like to drive in the snow? I'm like, hello, honey, No, I don't like to drive in the snow at all. I avoid it at all costs. I just don't like it. If you've been with me for any period of time, this is no secret. I avoid peas at all costs. I avoid peas at all costs. Like the squishy, cooked, mushy peas. Oh, can't stand them. Fresh, like snow peas that are still crunchy. I'm all about that. That's okay. But any kind of squishy peas, ooh, avoid those at all costs. Here's another one. Conflict. I avoid conflict. I don't like conflict. And sometimes it's good to avoid conflict, but sometimes it's not good to avoid conflict. Sometimes people will walk all over you if you avoid conflict. So sometimes I will just agree to something or go along with something. Now, obviously not anything that's harmful, but it's just sometimes it's easier to just agree and go along with somebody instead of disagree or state your opinion. So as I get older, that's something I'm trying to work with, right? Trying to get better at that. Jen, a.k.a. Skuna, said snow is a 4-letter word. Yep, sometimes. If I'm inside and I'm nice and cozy and there's a fire and I'm enjoying the night and it's snowing or it's Christmas morning or Christmas Eve, I love that. That snow's not a 4-letter word then, but when it gets all brown and dirty after it's been there for a day, or if I have to travel in it or go out in it, yeah, I don't like that. Don't like that. Let's see. Kathy avoids high heels. Oh, I love it. Oh, Wanda. Wah. I love peas in my mashed potatoes. Oh, yucky, yucky, yucky. No. Tabitha, say hi to Adeline. Hi, Adeline. I think she's there with you. Adeline is Tabitha's daughter, and she is will list with us sometimes. She is of the much younger generation, which kind of talking about what I was talking about before with the teachers getting their kids to write or their students to write. I love it when Adeline lists because I think that's just so awesome because she's recording herself, right? Super important. Oh, lovely. She's been trying to talk. Talk away, Adeline. Talk away. Adeline, with her mother's permission, well, Tabitha helped her, but has posted a couple of her lists in the past in the Facebook group. And I love that. I love seeing that. You guys know I love to always see your lists in the Facebook group, but love it when I see Adeline. So fun. Am I a Libra? Amanda, I am not a Libra. I'll tell you what I am in a minute. Are you a Libra? Love paper and colors, avoid driving in snow, and conflict, makes lists. I am a Leo. I am not a Libra. I am a Leo. I'm on the cusp of Virgo. So I'm like, depending on which one you look at, I'm like 2 to 3 days on the cusp of Virgo. So there's a lot of traits I think I have that are Virgo, but there are a lot of traits that I have that are Leo. Like I'm kind of loud. I'm very loud. I also will take charge in lots of situations. That's one of the things that, not that I avoid. I avoid things that are unstructured, maybe. There we go. I avoid unstructured things. There we go. I like things to be structured. I like to have a plan. And when I'm somewhere and things aren't going according to plan and there seems to be no plan in place and no one's taking charge, I will like jump right in because that drives me crazy. That's another kind of Leo thing. They say, I don't know. Tabitha's trying to avoid making lunch. I love it. Scrappy Violet avoids bumper-to-bumper traffic. Amanda says creative and great at marketing. I have a bit of a split brain. I think in spreadsheets. That is a whole business side of my life that is very interesting. And then I have the whole creative side. So, all right. Let's see. I avoid conflict. I like to avoid clutter. Clutter and disorganization. I had to split that up. It wouldn't fit. And I probably didn't split that. Disorganization. I should have split it before the Z at that little syllable break, but that's okay. I didn't know I was going to have to split it. So that's all right. Clutter and disorganization. Disorganization stresses me out like significantly. So there's not a lot of clutter in my house. There's not a lot of things on the countertop. Nothing wrong if that is your house, because you do you, but things like that tend to stress me out. So I try to avoid things that stress me out. Liver. Deborah said liver, the smell of artificial cinnamon, like the brooms at Christmas. Strong scents, like in candle stores. Rap music, yes, rap music for sure. Gracie Crate says Monday and Monday mornings. I'm going to put rap music on mine too, because rap music I definitely try to avoid. Okay, again, if this is your thing, there is nothing wrong with it, but one of the things I avoid is drugs. As I was making my list this morning, I'm like, what are some things I avoid? I avoid drugs. Now, wine, not on my list. Things I don't avoid, wine would be on that list. Things I don't avoid, wine. Perfectionism. Perfectionism. I don't know. I think in my line of work, if everything I did had to be perfect, I would never do anything. It would take me years to do anything, years to release traveler's notebooks, years to come out with new stamps, years to design a project kit. If everything had to be perfect, I'm beyond the perfectionism. I can't, it doesn't work in my life. So, drama. Years ago, so I have a very strong business background. I worked for AT&T for 8 years and then started a software company with 2 other gentlemen. Years ago, very early on, I learned the term fire your customer. So I learned the term, it's okay to fire your customer. If you have a customer and it's really not working out with them, it's okay to say, you know what, maybe you should take your business elsewhere, in the nicest way, of course. Once in my life, I have had to apply that to a friend where there was just too much drama. And maybe that comes with getting older. And I didn't tell her I was firing her. I just kind of stepped back, stepped away. And then over the years, you just kind of lose touch. But I had to fire a friend once. And that's okay. That's okay. There was too much of this. There was too much of drama in that relationship. And I didn't want it in my life anymore. So I avoided it. Drama. I like to avoid drama. Spiders. Like if there's one on the ground, I will not try to kill it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It can't be in the house, because the worst thing, there's only one thing worse than seeing a spider. The one thing worse than seeing a spider is when all of a sudden you don't see it, because now it's gone and it's in your house. So if I'm the only one home, I will kill the spider because I don't want it there, but I will avoid at all costs spiders. I do not like spiders. They creep me out. Christy said, we own our own business and we've had to do this twice this year. People are, and then she did the emoji with like the brain exploding. Yeah, sometimes, and you know what? It's okay to do. It is okay to do. Deborah said, if I tried to avoid clutter, I could never go home. Evelyn, no, Carolyn. Carolyn said lizards. You're like my friend Lizzie. She, like, lizards freak her out. Joanne said she avoids critters, mice, and rats. Jen said, I avoid getting out of bed right now. And you know what? That is absolutely okay. Sometimes the things that we avoid are temporary, right? Sometimes we are not eating sugar, so we're avoiding sugar. Sugar is very hard for me to avoid. I like sugar. So we can have things in our life that are temporary, and we can have things that our life are permanent, things that we try to avoid. So avoid getting dressed. Sometimes you want to stay in your jammies all day, right? So if it is, avoid getting out of bed right now, then Jen, you stay in bed and you stay there as long as you want. I gave you permission. Debbie said we have a lot of the same avoidances. Amanda, I avoid green peppers, LOL heartburn. Amanda, I avoid green peppers too, but for a totally different reason. It is, green peppers change the flavor of something so much. Like, we make this really good, magically easy beef stew, and it's so easy. You literally put all the stuff in, you put some tomato juice in there, and you put tapioca, like little of the tapioca pearls, and then you don't uncover it in the oven for like 3 hours, and it's just amazing. It calls for green peppers. I never realized how much it changed the flavor of the whole stew until Jack, our older son, who's chef, was home one time, and I said, hey, help me make this. And he said, we're not putting green peppers in there. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yes, we are. That's part of the recipe, because that's how I do things, is by the recipe when I cook. Not very often. And he said, you can't do that. It changes the flavor so incredibly much. It's not good. And so I didn't believe him, but I should, because he knows what he's doing. I do not. And it was so much better without green peppers. So unless it's like a supreme pizza, I like green peppers on a supreme pizza, but not in food. Crafty Karen said, avoid cilantro. So if you didn't know, there's some people in the population who, when they taste cilantro, it tastes like soap. I love cilantro. It does not taste like soap to me, but I understand if it tastes like soap, I wouldn't want to eat it. Green peppers and green, oh, Sandy, green olives. Now, I love green olives. When I was pregnant with Jack, our first son, there was one thing I craved, one thing only, green olives. And I went to Costco and I bought a giant jar of green olives and I ate them all through the pregnancy. I loved them. Creative Cindy said, this will sound stupid, but I avoid putting in the insides of my cards like have a happy birthday type thing. So you don't put like the sentiment in there. Is that what you're saying? It's not stupid, right? We avoid what we avoid. Scrappy Violet. Okay, I got to keep going. Mosquitoes. Yes, mosquitoes 100% for me. Mosquitoes. O-E-S? O-E-S, I think, is it with an E? I think so. Mosquitoes. I wish mosquitoes avoided me. I'm one of those people that you want to be with when mosquitoes are around because they will all come to me and they will leave you alone. Do not like them. Do not like them. Carolyn loves cilantro. Tomato tastes like dirt to me. I love tomatoes, but isn't that funny? Different taste. We just know what we like. Some things we have to avoid. Another one, snakes at all costs. I will avoid snakes at all costs. Do not like snakes. Another thing that, and if you have a snake as a pet, that's okay, but I don't want to come to your house because they freak me out. Okay, rap music can fit here. Rap music. Really don't like rap music. Years ago, Sam and I, our younger son, used to share the same iTunes account, Apple Music iTunes account, and I'll have a playlist going, and all of a sudden, the weird rap comes on, and I'm like, what in the world is that? So yesterday, I spent a little bit of time going through and deleting out all of those people, because I'm like, I don't like this music. I don't want it to come up. That's when I realized, I never really realized how much in the rap world, because it's not a world that I live or play in, how many rap artists there are whose name starts with Lil. Not little, but Lil. There were literally, as I'm going through deleting all these artists, there were like 20 Lils. Lil Wayne, Lil Jon, Lil Bob, Lil Steve, Little Fred. I mean, not really, but there were literally like 20 of them. Lil. I only know of one, like the Lil Nas guy, but yeah, there's a lot of Lils. I just have to see this. Today is a major squirrel day, friends. It is a major squirrel day. Well, that's okay. I'm having fun. Even if I'm here by myself, I'm having fun. I'm just talking out loud to myself. Hip hop. So here's the thing. Black Girl Happy Planner. Hi there. You love hip hop. So I like hip hop. Okay, now really hip hop I know isn't really like the Rapper's Delight, really isn't hip hop. I like Salt and Pepper. I like older kind of hip hop. So I don't know if that's really considered hip hop, but like that kind of music, or like old Run DMC, things like that I like, but I don't know if that's really hip hop. But that's what I like. Sarah says, you're not by yourself. We're all laughing with you. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's keep going. It's going to take 8 hours to get anything done today. Telemarketers. Yep. And it's nice because these days, kind of with our cell phones, isn't it fantastic that it will say possibly spam? And you're like, decline, not going to answer that. If it's someone that needs to talk to me, they'll leave me a message and then I'll call them back. But love that it can do that now. Like back when we used to have landline phones and the phone would ring, you didn't even have caller ID. You'd pick it up because it might be that boy that you like. He might be calling you. You wanted him to call you forever and he might be calling you. So you had to answer the phone. Now we can kind of screen our calls, right? Yes, old school. Thank you, Black Girl Happy Planner, for confirming that is hip hop. I like that. Old school hip hop, right? Old school hip hop. I'm sure if I thought a little bit more about it, I'd come up with some others that I like, but it's an all-dayer. Not quite an all-dayer. There's a Utah game I gotta watch. I don't know when it starts though. Nick's not back yet, so I don't think it's started yet, so I'm probably okay. solicitors. They kind of go in line with telemarketers. It's funny. I ordered a nice little small sign about this big by this big from Amazon. And it's a nice little black piece of metal and it says no soliciting on it. And it goes right above our doorbell. And you'd be amazed at how many times someone knocks on my door, and you can always tell. You open up the door and the guy's kind of standing back and he's got a little clipboard and I'm like, hello, do you not read? Did you not see the soliciting sign? I mean, I don't say that because I'm a nice person, because guess what? I avoid conflict, so I'm nice. But he's like, have you heard of solar? Have you ever considered solar? I'm like, yeah, no, not interested. And then you try to close the door and then they want to get their foot in the door, whatever. Yeah, I don't like solicitors. Try to avoid them. Oh, hi, Nick, you just popped in. Have you been just out there listening? Nick just popped, I don't know. He just said 1:30 game time. Okay. If I have to miss a little bit of kickoff, that's good. Hey, honey, while you're still out, do we have anything for lunch? Do we have anything for lunch? Do you need to pick up something for lunch while you're out? I don't know, maybe. Okay, solicitors, what else do I avoid? Oh yeah, no, I'm kind of on the same little trend, I don't know, whatever here. The missionaries. Again, I'm not a mean person, and when they knock at the door, I'm very nice to them because, again, they're nice young men. You usually don't see a lot of young ladies doing that, but nice young men. And I'm like, oh hi, and and they say, have you ever blah, 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 and they say whatever, and I'm like, oh no, I'm good, and they're like, no, and they try and I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks. I very much admire and respect you boys for what you're doing, but no. Because again, I avoid conflict. I feel like I have to be nice to everyone, except for the spiders and the snakes. Okay, Wendy's, that works for me. That works. That sounds yummy. That works. Susan said, no joke, our neighbor has a small metal sign beside the front porch that says, no solicitors unless you were selling Girl Scout cookies, right? Oh, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started. Cute sign, Girl Scouts. I know. I've got a soft spot. Okay, here's the thing with Girl Scout cookies, though. I can't order them. I cannot. Nick and I, and Jack and Sam, boys, none of us can resist anything like that. So if I were to buy, just say like one box of Thin Mints, I bet they'd be gone in an hour. Because they talk to me. They call me. Like no one else can hear it, just me. They'll be in the kitchen and I can hear them and they're saying, Layle, we're in here. Layle, we know you like us. Literally. So it could be I might have 4 or 5 little Thin Mints, and then maybe an hour later they're calling, and so I'd go grab maybe 2 more. And then maybe an hour later they're calling again. I might go grab 3 more. Next thing you know, you ate a whole freaking box of Thin Mints in a day. So we can't have them. So when the Girl Scouts come, I say, can I just write you a check? I don't want any cookies. Just let me write you a check, please. Sarah said, as Alton Brown says, Thin Mint boxes are 2 servings, right? I agree 100%. Now, some of you are going to be mad at me for telling you this. I discovered a couple months ago that Oreos makes the mint kind, and they make the really thin version. And they taste just like Thin Mints, and they're nice and thin, and they don't have too much cream in them, like the little waxy cream that sticks on your teeth. Those are very good. Those, again, that's like a 2 serving thing, even though it's like 3 sleeves. So don't be mad that I told you that, but maybe check it out if you like those kind of things. Yes, Paula, that's what I do. I write them a check, donate to the troop. I'm absolutely all for that. Carolyn said, that's why I avoid donuts. They know me by name. I know. I hate it when food talks to me. A lot of food talks to me, which is a problem. A lot of food talks to me. Christy eats Girl Scout cookies served 5 at a time at 20-minute intervals. I know, it's like oxygen or something. It's like a prescription. You need 5 every 20 minutes. It's health. It's a health thing. Freezing them, then spring. Oh yeah, I gotta stop. Like or the dipped Oreos. See, now I'm wanting Oreos. Okay, or Thin Mints or whatever. Okay, back to this. I should avoid Thin Mints. I should avoid donuts. I should avoid things I should avoid. How about that? We could do a whole other list. Things. Okay, I'm just gonna make a little note here. We could do a whole other list of things I should avoid. Okay, things I should avoid. Things I should avoid, but don't. Things I avoid, but should not. Exercise, no. Well, actually, sometimes, yeah. All right, we're just about done with this one. This is like beating a dead horse here. Let me see. Clutter and disorganization, I guess. Unstructured things kind of ties in with my disorder. My clutter and disorganization. All right, then the last one I have is, let's see, toxic people driving in the snow, peas, conflict, cutter, drama, spider, snakes, smoking areas. Smoking areas. Okay, so there we go. There's my super simple and easy, although it wasn't necessarily easy because I did all that and then we chatted a lot and then I stamped the title. But there we go. Things I avoid. This is another, actually, when you think about it, this is another type of a time capsule list because if I had done this list in high school, let's say, this would probably be totally different. Or if I'm Adeline. Adeline is much younger. Adeline is Tabitha's young daughter. If Adeline is working on this list right now, there's probably things that would be on her list that would not be on our list at all, right? Things just kind of change as we get older. I decided I needed a double line there. All right, so that one's all done. Things I avoid. 2 lists, wow. Okay, we have one more list to do, friends. Our last list that we're doing today is favorites. Now, favorites, let me put these pens away. I don't really have much else to put away from that list. So this list is favorites. Now, we do favorites list periodically. This one's going to be a little bit different. Let me get this put away. And I need to grab out a stamp set. Bet you can guess which one I'm grabbing. The favorites stamp set, okay? Dated. I did, Cindy. So I did a little bit earlier. I just put it a little right there. So it's really kind of hidden right there in my little thing. Favorites. So this list is a little bit different. This list actually, so sometimes, oh, hold on. I got to read this because Adeline is a Girl Scout. Sorry. Adeline's a Girl Scout, like true Girl Scout. So she's given us the skinny hair. Adeline said, Thin mints are overall the best seller when I sell with my troop. Sells out almost instantly. So what I read that is, if you want thin mints, you better go find the Girl Scout because they're going to sell out and you'll be sad. Thank you, Adeline. I think a lot of us probably maybe thought that was the case, but it's nice to know from like an expert that thin mints are a bestseller. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay. Okay. Last list, favorites. So what I was saying, sometimes you guys will send me emails and say, hey, I just came up with a list idea. Sometimes your email will sit in my inbox for a long time. And this is an example of that. Cassie Friesen. Cassie, I don't know if you're here or not. She has sent me a couple of emails with list ideas. So we're going to do one today and we're doing another one next month. This list is Cassie's idea, so it's a little bit of a twist on favorites. So usually when we do a favorites list, it will be a very specific or focused list. We might say these are our favorite foods or our favorite restaurants or our favorite movies or songs or, what colors, I don't know, whatever it is. But this one, what we're going to do is it's going to be a list of your favorites. So like your favorite time of day. Colleen, if you're still here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your favorite day of the week, your favorite season, your favorite month, your favorite holiday, your favorite time of life, your favorite Girl Scout cookie, right? It could be whatever you want to be on your list. So that is going to be our next list. So a little bit of a different favorite. It's kind of a 50,000 foot favorites view. I don't know why I have both of those in there. All right, so here's favorite. I think we'll use that big title for favorite. Now I wish I had an S to put on there, but that's okay. We do have this little my So if I wanted to put the little my right there, I think we'll do a little my up there. So if you wanted to do this list about yourself, you could, but let's say, because we're talking Tabitha and Adeline, mom and daughter, maybe Tabitha is doing this list, but she's doing it about Adeline. So instead of saying like my favorite, she could say her favorite or his favorite or their favorite or our favorite. So you can, kind of change up whatever the favorite, whoever it's applying to. All right, so I need to see what I am doing here. Favorite stamp. We are going to use, I need to move something off the floor. I just showed this one on Wednesday. This one is called Life of the Party. And what I loved about this one, there are some of the cutest, most fun icons in here. It definitely has a bit of a party or celebratory theme to it. But like, look at the dog. There is nothing out about that says party. I could use that for anything I wanted. Look at the little cat with the balloon, that little dog. You have the little cake, you have flowers, you have a little, oh, that could be fun. Maybe that little guy. That could be, since these are your favorites, that's kind of like a little award sticker. So I thought it might be fun to use Life of the Party for this, because it's just kind of a fun, happy-go-lucky collection. So that is my thought. I think one page, I don't know. I think it might end up being a 2-pager. We'll see. I am going to do some pattern paper on here. I just need to figure out what I want to use. Flowers, not party hats. It's a little bit too, I love that paper. That little champagne paper is so cute. Just looking to see what I might want to use. And then I think we're going to repeat again. So something generic. If I use this guy, maybe, and then if I use, just looking to see what I might want to go with it. I'm going to do something that you don't often see me do. Usually when we're working, I try to keep things in the same collection just because sometimes it's easier that way. But I think I saw something. I thought I saw some mint. That could work, right? That could work. That kind of minty plaid. Because when I put the two of those together, right, I think that will work. And then I can still use kind of whatever stickers or embellishments that I want to, not embellishments, stickers or die cuts. Just looking to see if there's anything else. So sometimes, well, not sometimes, it's absolutely okay. Cross things over, right? Cross things over because I wasn't really finding something that I liked that would coordinate, that'd be kind of super neutral. So I'm going to do those together. So one from What's Cooking and one from Life of the Party. All right. So, oh, Anne, I love it. Thank you, Anne. Anne said, favorite YouTube channel is Layle. There we go. That should be on all of our lists. No, just kidding. Let's see. Carolyn said, can we just spend the night here? Yo Mama Doug 365 said, can we just spend the night here? I know, sometimes it feels like that, doesn't it? Sometimes I say, oh no, we're not doing an all-dayer. Like last time we were together a couple weeks ago, it was over 5 hours. But it's just because I have so much fun. And like literally, sometimes I'm not around people for a long time. I mean, this time of year I'm around people a lot because I'm traveling and teaching a lot. But sometimes like this is pretty much the only social interaction I might get in a week, besides my husband. And so it's just fun. So sometimes I'm like, yes, we can. Let's just do this all day and night because it's fun. All right, so when I put pattern paper down, I am cutting that down to 4 3/4. So I will trim both of these to 4 3/4. One thing when I do that, sometimes, I don't know if I'll do it this time, but we'll see. Sometimes when I do that, if I am taking two papers that are really pretty different, and I don't want them to be so different, I can take the piece that I cut off and have it come over here. So then it kind of helps to pull those two together. See how that totally changed it by putting that piece I cut off? But I'm okay with it like that. So I'm gonna go that way. All right, so I think I like that size because then that size gives me a lot of that pattern all the way around. So let's see if I am about, maybe right there. That might be enough to do both sides. Just might be enough to do both sides. The Rollins fam just said it's going to feel like that since she is doing the December documented class with me tomorrow. Yeah, some of you will be with me for like 5 hours tomorrow because it'll be about 5 hours. We'll get it done, but it'll be about 5 hours, I think, for us to get it done. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, so I will see some of you tomorrow. Evilicious Craft said, like that, oh no, said husbands, partners don't count, right? When you're doing the social, that's really not a social thing, right? All right, we'll do that. Paula said, same here, no one in my family crafts, right? We have to find our people, and if it's on YouTube, then so be it, right? So be it. Creative Cindy says she liked the idea with the pad and paper. I think what she meant was this, right? Where we put that, not that guy, but we put that little piece right there. Look, I've used mint a couple times today. All right, so I think we're starting out at that. We need to round our corners. So if this one's on this page, ooh, oh, barely. Like, I barely have enough room there. Barely have enough room for the favorite to work. All right. So there we go. There are my pages. Okay. I need to go ahead and stamp this. I need to stamp my title. That's going to go right there, and then I'll put my little "my" right above it. So, shall we do some color? I know we can't do mint, because I know mint doesn't exist. Even like, look, salvaged patina is way too bluish. Before I decide on that color, I think I need to decide what is going to go on here in terms of little fun pieces, because that is going to maybe define what color that is. Now, I could go with something like super basic and generic like that, like those little balloons, right? We could do little balloons. Balloons would be generic. Let's look over here. Let me bring this in. Move that. What do we have? So die cuts. So instead of stickers, well, in addition to stickers, maybe let's look and see die cuts. Lots of fun flowers. Love that. There are a couple of different instruments where the like noise coming out is flowers. I love this little guy. Look at the little owl. Isn't it cute? That little owl would bring in a lot of color, right? That little owl would bring in a whole bunch of colors for me to use now, wouldn't it? I kind of like the owl. I kind of like the owl. Just looking at what else we have that might pull in some of those other colors. We could use that little butterfly. I really like the owl though, so I think we're going to make that work. I think we're going to make that work. Now I have an idea for how I'm going to pull in a lot more color. Look at that. Look at that dog. Isn't that dog so cute? Little dog with his top hat and sunglasses. Hello, that could work. That's so cute. Today is your day. All right, I think we're on a good path here. I think I've got a feel for what I want to do. So I'm not going to use the balloons. Just looking through kind of all the other pieces here to see what we have. We could incorporate a little smiley face somewhere if we might like that. So let's put this over here. There is a collection that from American Crafts that was called Kid at Heart that came out in the middle of the pandemic, and I used that quite a bit on my list just because it was a really good, kind of like this, just kind of fun, whimsical, that was a much needed lift, a mood lifter during that time, right? A much needed mood lifter during that time. All right, so now I think if we put that there, maybe, we don't need that guy. I probably won't use a little smiley face because then there's another circle there unless I wanted to do that. Look at that, totally changes that by doing that. All right, I think we're on a path, a good path, not a path of destruction. I think we're on a good path. So let's figure out then the color. What if, I don't know, but that orange color could kind of be fun. And well, I hate to say it, but I think the orange color is kind of like the right persimmon. Let's see. Oh, good, it's not. Spice marmalade. There we go. I think spice marmalade. That's what we use. So, whoopsie. Pull that out. Spiced marmalade. And that will be favorite. So let's find our stamping block. Nope, too small. Need a bigger stamping block. There we go, that should work. Favorite. All right, this we do for sure need to test. We always a good habit to get into to test your stamps before you use them. And that's where the little my is. I don't want to lose my. Pink or orange? Yes, even yellow. Oh, well, you know what? I always love yellow. I always, because his little feet are yellow. If Terry was here, she would tell you. She knows I use yellow. I love yellow. I love yellow because I can't wear yellow. Sometimes it's hard for blondes to wear yellow. I cannot wear yellow. It does not look good on my complexion. I want to wear yellow, but I don't. Okay, favorite. Are we going to like it? Oh, yes, that is going to make us happy. So let's come in here. Re-ink that bad boy up. And put this maybe about right there. There we go. Love that one. Favorites is one of the very first stamp sets I did. One of the first few. Let's say one of the in the handful of the first few, because we like to do lists about our favorites, right? Our favorite hobbies, our favorite things to do, our favorite anything, right? Okay, let's do a little outlining here. This would be a fun one, that if you have littles in your world, younger kids, this would be a really fun list to have them do. Especially if you had them write it in their own little handwriting. It would be cute. Or if they don't really write yet, you could have them tell you what's their favorite cartoon, what's their favorite food, what's their favorite book. This would be, we've talked about teachers a couple times today, working with like young adults, maybe like teenagers. This would be a fun list to have them do because it'd be easy, right? They can talk about their favorites all day long, their favorite video games, their favorite social media apps. I don't know. Kathy said this list would go great in the This Is Me book. Absolutely, it totally would. Totally would, because this is just, right? This is just telling a little story about yourself, right? It's just telling a little story about yourself. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and adhere these guys down. A lot of color, right? Lots of good, happy, fun color. And so far, there's nothing on this that has anything to do with the party. Although if you look at the little owl, he has a party hat on, but the owl also has blue sunglasses, so that can mean whatever we want. Okay. Do that there. And I think we'll put this over here just to kind of give it a little bit more something over this side. But I think I will have this bleed off the page a little bit. We'll see. I don't know if that will end up staying there. It might not be able to stay there. All right. Here's another nice thing about using stamps as opposed to letter stickers, because I'd have a heck of a time trying to find little letter stickers to go above that. So where do I want that to go? I'm thinking maybe like right here. Right? What do you think? Like right there? Or I think it'd be too weird over here. Like it'd be like favorite my what, huh? I think we'll put it right there above the V. So we'll go just kind of right in there. My favorite. And then it's like dot, dot, dot. My favorite, dot, dot, dot. I'll just add the little dots here. My favorite, dot, dot, dot. Okay, my favorite, dot, dot, dot. I am going to do my little, I think, double outline again here. This guy I don't think is going to work right here. I may still use him down below a little bit. Can't move him down below. Maybe he goes over here a little bit. So the reason I don't want to move him down below is this would not look right to me because then everything is too linear here. So I'd want this guy maybe to go over here. The reason I want to move that, what I thought I would do, we'll see if this is going to work. In theory, my idea was that I would take different letter stickers. So I showed these on Wednesday night. These are new. These are from Bella Boulevard and they're called Letter Scramble. They come in 16 different colors. So all of those beautiful colors, pretty much every color in the rainbow. Well, not every color in the rainbow, but 16 of the colors in the rainbow. On this sheet, there are 4 different fonts. So you have that font, a serif, lowercase. Serif are like the little legs. A sans serif, numbers. There's a capital sans serif, and then your little blocks right there. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Because what I thought I would try to do, it may work on some of them. Let's just see. So like the first one on my list. Hi, dear.
The game just kicked off. You need to hurry.
Okay. Okay. Did you hear him? The game just kicked off. You need to hurry. I know this one may be a list that you guys, that we finish up when we're together again. I'll do a couple. Let's do this. Here's the deal. Let's do a couple of them and then we will finish this list up when we're together again on the 18th. How about that? All right. So my favorite. The first one was time of day. And so what I could do, I'm going to get out my black dot marker. Oh, here it is. I love it when things are right where I put them. My black dot marker. So I just used a dot marker a minute ago on our last list, but this is the black version, right? Same thing, dot size changes based on pressure. So I will use a little dot, I think. We're gonna do it. Little dot, okay? So, whoopsie, time of day is my first one. Mindy, blasphemy. Mindy said go Ducks. So the University of Utah is playing the Oregon Ducks. Sorry, Mindy. No, 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 no. Yes, little rivalry, and we're both 6-1. Both Oregon and Utah are 6-1. Time of day. Time of day is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, can I fit that? Let's see. So if every so often I use some little stickers, let's see if we'll fit. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, because there are little number stickers on here, so that would work. Let's see if we can fit one. That's my favorite time of day. Well, I don't know. It's not my favorite time of day. It's just I see that number on the clock quite often. Some people call that the angel time. So some people believe that that is, like I always think, because I see 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock like an unusual amount of times a day. And I always think, that's my grandma. That's my grandma. She's not living anymore. But I'm like, that's my grandma just saying, hey, how are you? So I see that quite often. And Colleen always is very good about pointing out when we are working together, when we're here together on our Saturdays. She's very good about saying, hey, angel time. One, 2, 3, 4. Time of day. Oopsie, don't want that one. My favorite time of day is 12:34. So my thought was I'd use alpha stickers, maybe some number stickers, different things like that throughout my different lists on this to kind of add a lot of kind of visual interest, okay? So let's do one more and then we will finish this one up next time we're together because I'm gonna go eat lunch and watch the Utah Utes beat the Oregon Ducks. Yes! Mindy, I know. I think I know you're from Oregon. Yeah? Okay, next one. Favorite time of the day. Favorite day of the week. What do you think the favorite day of the week is? Saturday? Day of the week is Saturday. Now, there I didn't really have any room to do any number stickers or letter stickers, so I just wrote it out. So I can do some things with number letter stickers, some things just plain. So I'm going to stop there, friends. That came to a screeching halt, didn't it? I'm going to stop there. We will start, when we're together again, we will be together again on November 18th, Saturday, November 18th, because I'm out of town teaching the next 2 weekends. So we will start out by continuing where we left off with this list. Elise said hers is 12/18, which is her birthday. Oh, very good. All right, friends, so let me flip the camera. Let me turn off the lights and flip the camera. We'll say our goodbyes. While I'm doing that, remember the giveaways, okay? Remember the giveaways. There are 4 today. 4 giveaways today. 2 of the 4 are Traveler's Notebook. So you get to choose which of my 3 new Traveler's Notebooks, if you are the winner, you would like to have. Another one is the 2023 Year in Review Project Kit. As we're starting to wind down 2023, you can start looking forward to the 2024 kit. That one, I'm getting tons of questions about that one lately. That will come out for pre-order in probably later December, and then it will ship in January. So, and then we'll do our class in February to kind of get everything set up for the year. And then the 4th prize is all of my leftovers from the Happy Halloween collection that I used on our first list today. And I've only used that on 2 lists. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. The washi and the foam stickers, there's so much good stuff in there. So I've just bundled that all up. And whoever wins that prize, we'll ship it off to you. So participate in the giveaways. Leave a comment on the video when it's over. Not here in the chat. Leave a comment on the video when it's over. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. I so enjoyed today. Seriously, I have so much fun when we do this. It's just, I'm not the person that says it fills my cup, but I'll say it fills my cup. It just gives me so much joy. It really kind of re-energizes me and gives me what I need to kind of keep on working. So thank you for giving me the place to do that. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go Utes, and have a good Halloween. If you're listing with us today, take a picture, put it in the Facebook group, because we always like to see, I like to see what you guys are doing. You always get to see what I'm doing, but I never get to see what you're doing. So post it in the Facebook group. I'll do What's New Wednesday this coming week. And then we'll be together again Saturday, November 18th and the 25th. And then right now, every weekend in December. So as soon as the travel stops, then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled listing time. All right, friends, thanks for joining me today. Have a great rest of your weekend.